Welcome back to Real Rapport.
I'm Cameron. This is Connor.
Let's get real. All right, so the first topic for today is this movie called How to Make a Killing. Have you heard of that movie yet?
No clue.
No? Okay.
Nothing.
Okay, sounds good. So let's go ahead and watch the trailer if you are okay with that. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. How to Make a Killing?
Yeah, How to Make a Killing. And then I'll let you just watch it without any info.
Okay.
And then we'll kind of go from there.
I already have questions for you, so I'll hold them.
Okay. Gun to your head. What would you even do with $1 billion?
Why do you have a gun in my head?
Valid question. Okay, 24.
Since the day I was born, my mother told me we were different. Yes, she had been disowned by her family. But someday I would become the sole heir. The real estate. Planes, an island or two.
Beckett. No way. So are you living in the city now?
Yeah, I do. A little outside of it.
Whatever happened to the Redfellow family fortune?
All inherited. Someday.
Well, call me when you've killed them all.
Oh?
There were 7 of them. 7 rich pricks. Between myself and $28 billion. If I were to prune a few branches of the family tree.
Wait. Who are you?
I'm Beckett.
Dang.
2 calls, 2 emails.
Been occupied.
With what?
Occupations.
Working your way up the financial ladder. Filthy business, though.
Hope this isn't a bad time. We have an agreement.
Oh?
I won't get out of here until you come clean.
Have you heard about the Redfellows?
What about them?
I wonder who's next. If I were you, I might be nervous. Until then, I'm sure you'll make a killing.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Random question. Do you think people are going to get Gwen Powell fatigue?
That's literally why I made you watch this. That's why I made you watch this. Is because when I saw this on social media, all the comments were like, "Man, Hollywood's really trying to make this guy a thing." Like, oh,
Really?
another Glenn Powell thing. Like that was like those were the comments that I saw.
That's the comments?
Yeah. That's why I made you watch it because
Okay.
I was one of the well, maybe not the only reason. I thought it looks interesting too. But
Yeah, but that's a driving factor.
Yeah.
That's interesting because I just saw Running Man. Did you see Running Man?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that's like my most recent thing with him. And I know he was in the new Twister. Shoot, he's been in other stuff and I can't think of any of it.
I actually have written down like all the movies he's been in the past couple of years, or starred in the past couple of years.
Okay.
That I'll go over real quick.
Okay.
So this year he was in The Running Man.
Mm-hmm. Great film.
And he also was in Chad Powers.
TV show.
Yeah. So only one movie this year.
Okay.
Last year he was in Twisters.
Okay.
In 2023 he was in Hitman and Anyone But You.
Okay.
Or he starred in those movies. And then in 2022 he had his breakout role with Top Gun. Like he was in stuff before that, but he wasn't like big face in Hollywood until then.
And that's how I found out about him.
Yeah.
So a lot of people did, right?
So I feel like it's interesting that the conversation is like actor fatigue when he's only like been starring, he's only starred in 2 movies in 2023. Neither of them were like super huge hits. They were like, there was an action comedy and like a romantic comedy.
Mm-hmm.
1 movie in 2024 and then 1 movie and 1 show this year.
Right.
Like I don't feel like that's that many, you know?
I don't think so either. And I don't personally have a Glenn Powell fatigue, but I just brought it up because I think I tried to count the number of things that Pedro Pascal has done recently, because I know
Okay.
that's a big conversation.
Okay.
Pedro Pascal fatigue, which
Yeah.
I don't agree with. But granted, I haven't seen a decent amount of movies that he's been in recently, and I also haven't seen The Last of Us yet.
Okay.
So I
sure.
haven't been seeing the projects that a lot of other people have been, I suppose.
Yeah.
And so I just brought it up because I was thinking about that. I've seen him in stuff, and I know he's been doing stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't agree with it. I do think it's interesting when it's not that many things
Mm-hmm.
to begin with, especially because another thought I had watching it was it's cool to see him in so many things
Mhm.
because it's, I think a conversation that people were having, it's probably like 5 years ago, was that there's not really any like action stars in the same way there was when like Arnold was doing movies and
Yeah.
when Sly was making movies.
Yeah.
And I feel like Glenn Powell can kind of fill that role.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know if the world needs that, you know, like I don't know if we're in desperate need of that, but I think it's cool to see a new actor kind of doing that same sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't see it as a bad thing.
No, I don't really think so either, because it's not even like he's taking over that many roles that like you could give to other people or anything. And it's not like he's doing a bad job in those roles either. I think that there's a few different factors at play.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, so he just starred in The Running Man, which came out in the past month.
Mm-hmm.
Chad Powers, I don't watch it, but I'm assuming it's been like a recent thing. Like people, like it's like TV shows always feel like more contemporary than movies because they're like you watch them over a more gradual period of time. So maybe that can ingrain an actor more in your head. So since he was in a TV show this year, there's that.
Yeah.
And then you watch a trailer where he's in the trailer right after a movie that he was in came out, and you've been watching the show. So that's three things within like the span of like a month. So it feels like a lot, even though over the course of the year he wasn't in that much stuff, you know?
Yeah. I wonder if a part of it is also like he's got such a recognizable face and presence to him that like, I'm trying to think of a good example. Like you might see Adam Sandler in this same amount of projects, and we probably wouldn't blink an eye. We all know it's Adam Sandler, we recognize it's Adam Sandler. But I think that Glenn Powell has a certain, I don't know what it is to him, that like, I see he's in something and I take note of that thing immediately. And that's probably the reason that like, they're casting him, right?
Yeah.
He gets people's attention. I wonder if that's part of it. People are just noticing him in things. And it's not that he's been in that many more things than other people.
Yeah, maybe that's it. I mean, like, if you look at like Zendaya next year, she's going to be in Dune Part 3, the new Spider-Man movie next year, the Odyssey, she's in that.
Okay.
I mean, but she's not like the star of any of these movies, though. I don't know if that's a factor.
Do you think the difference
as well.
is that he's the star
like
of
the protagonist or whatever? Yeah.
Yeah, that is interesting. I do also think that movies we've gotten recently have had our stars that we know, and have also done a good job of introducing new actors or bringing in up and coming actors who haven't had that much stuff.
Yeah.
And so there's probably not as many things to point at now that have repeat actors in it. So it's probably just something people are noticing with specific people.
Yeah. I think. I mean, you made a good point. That's like back in the day in like the 80s, like before our time, it was like Arnold was in everything, Sly was in everything, and then you get into the 90s, you've got Keanu, you've got like Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, like all those guys are that like action stars, or they're in like a bunch of stuff, at least like one blockbuster every year or whatever.
Right. I mean,
I could be exaggerating. Yeah. I mean, Mission Impossible, it's like that's like confined to one series. So I don't know if it's like exactly the same, but
yes, but you're getting one of those every 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Plus all the other movies he's doing.
Yeah, but it's like people went to the theaters back then to like see the actor. It wasn't like so much about the character they were playing. It was like, oh, what's the next thing that like Arnold's gonna do? Like I love watching Arnold,
Yeah.
And now I feel like people like, and I've seen people say this online over the past few years. It's like the stars of the movies aren't the actors anymore. It's the characters. Like with the MCU, people didn't go to see that for Chris Evans. They went for Captain America.
Right.
Maybe some people went for Robert Downey Jr., but it's really Tony Stark that they want to go see.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of something that I've heard people talk about as like a cultural shift in the past several years, which could be a contributing factor to like actor fatigue. Maybe as people just aren't interested. There's like, it's not the same anymore. I don't know if what I'm saying makes any sense.
Well, let me see if I can put it in my own words to make sure I'm understanding. Like we can, sorry, we can put Glenn Powell in things, but people aren't going to necessarily be drawn to that because of Glenn Powell. They'll watch the trailer or read something about it and find that the character he's playing is interesting, and that's the reason to go and watch it, is what you're saying?
Yes, or maybe it's like if they feel like the studio or Hollywood is telling them, you should watch this because of this star. Maybe they reject that in a certain way, and maybe like
that is interesting.
Like maybe the audience has shifted their mentality, but maybe Hollywood hasn't shifted its mentality, and it still makes trailers and movies in a way that it's like trying to use the stars as like a draw to the theater when they should be seeing the IP in a lot of blockbuster scenarios.
Yeah.
But yeah, the story for smaller.
I think that's interesting because I mean, we're both basically 2000s kids, right? Basically. And so we don't really know about that, but we grew up watching a lot of the movies with certain actors of all of their movies. But I don't think there's maybe there's a couple exceptions, but I don't think there's many actors that I see in a film and I'm like, oh, I'm going to go see it because this person's in it. I think that the exceptions to that for me are Mason Thames. Thames? I think it's Thames. Just because I've seen him in like 3 things now. And I just think he's good and I want to see him do more stuff.
Well, he's been in like 3 or 4 things this year. People don't have actor fatigue of him, do they?
No, I don't think so. I haven't seen people talking about Glenn Powell, actor fatigue.
Yeah.
It just came to mind while we were watching the trailer.
Sure.
And the other one is probably Timothée Chalamet, because I think he has crazy range. And I've been trying to catch up on his
Okay, that's
movies.
a good point. The range of characters is a good point as well.
I think, because I guess he's been acting, we've seen him grow up, right? Like Interstellar was, I guess, I don't know if it's his breakout role, but one of his youngest roles on film.
I would say his breakout role, Call Me By Your Name.
Yeah, probably. And now he's going to be in Dune Part 3, right? And so that's like a huge shift. He's done so many other things. And so, Glenn Powell, I mean, he's doing mostly action comedy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the same thing with Pedro Pascal. Like, it's kind of a joke, but people are talking about how he plays the like disgruntled dad who finds a kid, right? And he does that again and again and again. And I can only think of The Last of Us and Mandalorian, but maybe there's something else.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk about Pedro Pascal for just a second, because I wrote down just the movies that he has been in the recent years to kind of compare it to Glenn Powell's here.
Okay.
So this year he starred in Fantastic Four, The Materialist.
I forgot he was in that. That's crazy. Okay.
Yeah, The Materialist.
I haven't seen that one yet. Okay.
Eddington. I think he was starred in it. I don't know for sure. I've heard of it, but I don't really know. We can look it up real quick.
Just so I can. You can keep listening while I do that if you want.
And then this year he was also in The Last of Us Season 2.
Okay.
But he was only in it for a couple episodes.
I was like, I don't want to say anything because I mean, spoilers is probably a weird thing for that. Eddington?
Yeah, Eddington.
Eddington, like that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I did know about this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't seen it, but so he did star in that. So that's 3 movies and a TV show that he starred in this year.
Which, that's what? A blockbuster as far as films go. One of the most popular shows, I think.
And then 2 like mid-budget movies.
Yeah.
But like, I think also all of that stuff came out between, I don't know when Eddington came out actually, but Materialist came out during the summer.
July 18th.
Okay, I think Materialist also came out during the summer, and so did Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like maybe it's just like the condensed.
I mean, that's what we're
Release
talking
schedule,
about with
yeah,
Running Man and
Glen Powell, yeah.
How to Get Killing.
Yeah, last year he was in Gladiator 2, which he wasn't even really a star in that movie. But I also don't know if he was like a perfect. I don't know if he was the best fit for that role. I mean, he did fine. I mean, it was. Well, here's the thing too. Is like I just said that. I don't know if he's a perfect fit for that role, but maybe that's just because I have this like preconceived notion of his roles now as like that dad character, and maybe people aren't giving him the chance to kind of expand outside of that. You know, actors are always afraid of getting typecast and stuff. So
yeah, definitely.
Sorry, he was also in Wild Robot. I'll let you jump in. Let me finish listing the movies first. He's the fox.
That's right. My bad.
In Wild Robot.
For some reason, I thought that was Oscar Isaac. I don't know why I thought that.
Gotcha. Well,
I think I just see people talk about them in the same space a lot.
Yeah,
that's all.
Sure. They have the same vibe, I guess.
Yeah.
So Gladiator 2 and Wild Robot in 2024.
Okay.
One of those, he's not the star, but he's like kind of alongside there. And then Wild Robot, he's kind of starring, but he's also like, it's a voice role.
I feel like it's kind of a voice role, but it's also an ensemble cast, right?
Yeah, it is.
I think there's like 3 protagonists in that film.
And I think it was around Wild Robot and Gladiator 2 where I first heard people talking about actor fatigue for him.
I do think it was around that time we were getting, I don't know if it was announcements for him playing Mr. Fantastic or trailers for Fantastic Four as well.
People were upset about his casting, which I thought he did a good job as Reed Richards.
I think he performed well. I never really had any complaints about it. I think that's okay.
2023, that was the last season of Mando and the first season of The Last of Us. No movies though.
Okay.
But again, like I said, TV shows.
And those are also 2 very big TV shows.
Yes, they are.
Like Last of Us was huge for video game film, for video game media outside of the games, right? And then Mandalorian is the Star Wars project right now.
Yeah. 2022, you have that movie with Nick Cage. It was like the unbearable weight of like I don't know,
unimaginable talent. I think, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And then you have Book of Boba Fett. He was in a little bit.
He's got his little cameo.
Yeah. And then the few years before that, that was like, you know, the first couple seasons of Mando. Mm-hmm. In 2020, he was Maxwell Lord in Wonder Woman 1984.
I saw this in that film. Still not seen that. So, yeah.
Gotcha. And then, you know, before that, he was in some like more side stuff like Kingsman 2 and what was that thing he was in? Like the first like early thing that was Narcos. The TV show Narcos was like his first like starring thing.
I think Kingsman is the first thing I saw him in, and Mandalorian is the first thing I like recognized him from. So I don't know about some of those earlier ones, I guess.
Gotcha. But yeah, so he's been in a lot of stuff this year, I would say.
Okay.
But also like, again, like, I think that it's like like we said, the condensed nature of like when these things were released.
2 big TV shows for him too, right? So
2 big TV shows. And if you look at the amount of stuff that he's been in and the scale of the projects and the IPs that he's participated in, and you compare that to Glen Powell's been in a lot less stuff, like and a lot smaller stuff too. So it's just interesting to me that those conversations are coming up for Glen Powell, or at least what I've seen on like Instagram and stuff.
Yeah. I think, and I might be transitioning away from this, our actor fatigue dialogue a little with this. But I think that as far as social media platforms, when you look at the comments, even if it's just like under a trailer on YouTube, from my perspective and my experiences, the people who are going to post or type something up on there are the people who are going to make comment on things like actor fatigue.
Sure.
Whereas I watched that and I said it because I think that that's a fun thing to talk about here. I think that's a fun thing to talk about with you.
Yeah.
But I also am just intrigued by this movie. I have questions about the characters in this movie, like certain people's motivations like that. Like I'm just interested about the movie, but I don't think that that's the kind of thing that people comment under a post on Instagram.
Sure. And I also think that Instagram comments tend to sway negative as opposed to like YouTube comments tend to sway a little more positive. Yeah. In my perspective.
That's fair.
Like I bet if we go to this trailer, the comments aren't going to be like, like the top
this
comment.
person's excited about seeing more Glen Powell. That's kind of how I am. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, Oliver is right. There you go.
Yeah, Oliver, you are right.
This guy says great cast. Somehow this feels more like an Edgar Wright, Glenn Powell collab than The Running Man.
Glenn Powell plus A24.
Look, this person literally says Margaret Qualley is everywhere, and I'm not complaining.
Yeah, I think I might just not understand actor fatigue, because as far as Pedro Pascal and Glenn Powell go, I think they perform their roles well.
Yes.
And so I have no complaints in seeing them in something else, with the exception of maybe I read somewhere that one of them and some other person were the last two candidates or whatever, and I think the other person could have performed something better. And I don't have an example of that, but I'm just saying that might be a certain situation where
they're good actors.
I think they do their job well.
Yeah, no, they do. I think maybe it's part of it's like the typecast thing. Like, people see Pedro Pascal and they can only think, oh, well, this is like he's just gonna do his kind of grumbling dad character.
Yeah.
Reluctant dad type character, because he's done that a few times. Or maybe they see Glenn Powell now that he's been in a few different movies, and they're like, oh, he's just gonna be like the charismatic but also tough action hero
star, yeah,
who's a little funny, but I don't think that there's not a problem with, in my opinion, there's not a problem with casting an actor in a role that's similar to a role they've done before, if they'll do a good job. And there's also not a problem with casting them in something that's like a little bit different. I think the problem is with audience perception, and maybe it is just Instagram, because like we see here, it's
I mean, we'll look at like 5 comments here. Like, we can probably scroll and find something bad.
We probably can, yeah. But I don't know. I just think it's like interesting. Like, actor fatigue as a whole is not something that I'm totally on board with. Like, unless an actor does a bad job, I'm not excited to see them in something else.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I guess I'm in the same boat that I'm not on board with actor fatigue. And I think the only thing that maybe I can agree in some way, which I don't know if I've had this conversation with you, but I've had this conversation with others, is that I'm not sick of seeing Pedro Pascal. But what jobs does Pedro Pascal get that an unknown actor or lesser known actor could get, and that would be their breakout role? And then we could see someone else performing so many other things. You know what I mean? Like, I think Hollywood wants people to come see the movies. And there's definitely some things where it's like, if we have certain actors in it, we think people will come and see it. We were just talking about that might not be the case as much anymore, but I think that's still how Hollywood works. And I think there are times where lesser known actors could perform just as well or maybe better than the people who do get the role.
I mean, that's definitely possible.
But that's everything. Like, that's not just with these two guys.
We don't know a lot about what goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
There's probably a lot of very earnest casting out there. There's probably a lot of casting that's like, this guy, is, someone I've worked with before, or, not that that's nefarious, but it's more nefarious to be like, oh, this is my nephew or something.
Yeah.
But, there probably are some missed opportunities out there. But when you start talking about what if scenarios, I think that there's not much to stand on, because you don't know. They could cast an unknown actor who could do a worse job too.
That's true.
Right? So
that's true. And so that's a gamble, but I just think that's an interesting thought experiment for myself.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a whole what if thing, which is a rabbit hole that maybe might not be best to go down.
Yeah. Sure.
But I think that's my only, it's not even a negative opinion, but that's my only not positive thought.
That's your only,
these guys getting,
your only concession when it comes to
okay. These guys getting all these roles. And that's, and again, I think they do a good job. I think they're fantastic at what they do.
What you're saying, you could apply that back in the 80s and 90s too.
Yeah, true. That's absolutely true.
I mean, I don't know how demanding of an acting role some of the stuff that Arnold took on, but I just think that there are opportunities that could have been missed. But again, I don't know what goes on behind the scenes. Yeah. Anyways, thoughts about this trailer at all, or this movie?
I mean, it's definitely a film I want to see for sure. In theaters would be awesome.
Yeah.
I think my main like thought going into it is I don't know the actress's name. And now
Margaret Qualley, the girl who's
the girl that was
younger.
like talking with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is her role going to be in this? Because it seems like
Yeah, who is she?
she makes
Yeah.
the joke about he kills them, and then we see what seems to be later in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
She's like makes a pun about him making a killing.
Yeah.
Right. And so like, does she know? Is she helping him?
Yeah,
Is there some
that could be
third
the same
thing?
scene too. We don't know. Like,
That's true. That's true. That's my like main question about it. And then also, it was hard to tell with a lot of he said there were 7 people who were in his way, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was hard for me to see their faces because a lot of them were like, they were in water or they were screaming or distorted face, things like
And
that.
quick cuts.
Yeah, but I thought like briefly that I recognized a handful of them and I couldn't place any of them. And maybe I don't. Maybe I'm confusing it with other people.
I mean, the only one that I recognized was Topher Grace, who's from That 70s Show. And he's also Venom from Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, plays Eddie Brock. Well, then there's also an older actor who I don't know if he's one of the 7, but he showed up in one scene here that I think you would definitely recognize. I don't know.
Oh, the only.
Those 2.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can just hover and find things towards the end.
Yeah, they put up the cast towards the end there.
Da-da.
But the other thing I would say about this.
Oh, I didn't even play it. My bad.
Oh, Ed Harris. He's in a lot of stuff too.
Okay, is that who I
I don't remember exactly what he's in, but he's always like the kind of like he's the bad guy a lot of the time. He's bald.
This
yeah,
guy.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, I recognized him for
Yeah.
sure. I knew him.
Yeah.
Ed
No,
Harris.
I think it looks interesting.
Definitely.
I'm down to check it out.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like another action comedy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It might turn into some kind of
he does
thriller
a
thing.
good job at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. The only thing that I would say about this trailer that I didn't like is, I think it does lean a little bit too far into showing it shows too much, in my opinion, of the movie, which I think a lot of trailers do.
Yeah, I think you and I have talked about this, that we think trailers show a little bit too much.
Yeah.
We touched on it a little bit when we talked
Yeah.
about Hail Mary, punching Hail Mary.
Yeah, like we see him like pulling the guy underwater, killing him, which, maybe you show one of the kills, maybe that's fine.
Maybe that's the least climactic one. Or,
Yeah, maybe that's the first one or whatever.
Yeah.
But then we show like him encountering Topher Grace and being like, what he said something along the lines of like, "You're not leaving here till you talk," or something
Yeah,
like
you
that.
admit, or something like that.
Yeah, it's
like,
more like,
we think
okay.
Topher Grace knows that he's the one killing people.
Yeah, or maybe he's not talking to him, but it just seems like, okay, we know that something doesn't go right. Maybe at that point when he encounters Topher Grace or tries
Some
to kill him or
confrontation,
something,
right?
there. And I think maybe like I'm already hooked by the concept, and you maybe don't have to show the scenes in a lot of detail. Just show some like cool moments. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably just a struggle of creating a trailer for like an action movie, right?
True.
How
yeah.
much can you show that's just cool stuff to get people to come as well while giving them the plot without showing them key details?
Yeah,
right?
and maybe it's difficult too when you have something like, oh, I got to kill 7 people. A lot of the times people consider deaths to be spoilers, and if you're spending a majority of the movie going through like a journey to kill 7 specific people, then maybe it's one of those movies where spoilers start early on in the movie, and you can only cut so much into a trailer without giving a little bit of that away.
Yeah. Just because we watched it, the trailer for, what is it, Sunrise on the Reaping?
On the Reaping, yeah.
Yeah. That's one that there's probably so much more going on in that specific movie than the games.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a movie where we know all other, 23 contestants are going to die, but they didn't show a single death, right?
That's true. Yeah. I mean,
Um,
I think I would have maybe cut a couple of those scenes out and replaced, or maybe just taken them out. I mean, you could probably keep the same trailer and just take a couple of those scenes
Yeah.
out. But
Yeah, I mean, I'm hooked without a couple of those scenes for sure.
Yeah.
I think we got to work on our trailers, Hollywood. That's all. Like,
yeah.
as a whole.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, next topic I have on the agenda for today. Spider Noir, the TV show.
Okay.
Did you see the poster? Like promo
Did
poster?
see the poster.
Yeah.
Did.
And they have like a black and white and a color version. of
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Let's just pull it up real quick.
Yeah.
Let's just look at
I
it.
only saw the black and white one. I know there was a colored version of that. That's interesting.
Spider Noir.
Poster.
I think it was poster. It wasn't just like an image, right?
I saw a poster. This is what I saw, I think.
Yeah, so this is the color version
Okay.
right here. So
Interesting.
you got the color version, and then you have the black and white version right there.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anyways, any thoughts about that? Any level of excitement for that?
I mean, it's Nicolas Cage, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm always a little excited for Nicolas Cage. I'll be
Yeah,
totally
yeah,
honest
yeah.
with you. I'll never get Nicolas Cage fatigue for sure. I think
I mean, he does have massive talent, so
it does. I think, Spider-Man Noir is a really interesting character. I don't know that much about him, but from what little I know about him, he's got some stuff going on. I don't know how they'll approach this.
Mhm.
I think that my only hesitancy when it comes to this show, it's a show, right? Not a movie.
it's a show on Amazon
Okay.
Prime. Yeah,
That's right. Is the fact that it is going to be live action. I don't think that's automatically a bad thing. We've had almost 9 live action Spider-Man movies now.
Mhm.
What are we at? 8? I think we're at 8. I did it like they each have a trilogy.
3
but I
plus
think-
2 plus 3.
Yeah, I did it like they each have a trilogy, but not all of them have a trilogy.
9.
Okay.
Wait,
8.
8. Oh, gosh.
no.
Soon to be 9.
Soon to be
next
9.
year. So.
Yes. My point is we have good examples of live action Spider-Man movies, right? Good and bad, depending on some people's opinions.
Mhm.
So that's not automatically a bad thing, but our introduction to this character, for most people, lots of people read comics and have seen him in that, and he shows up in a couple animated shows, I think. But most people's introduction was Into the Spider-Verse, right?
Okay, yeah.
Which was voiced by Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
And so, at least my understanding is it'll be as similar to that version of this character as they can be for the show.
Is it supposed to be the same guy?
That's
or?
what I mean. It's supposed to be the same guy, but I don't know if it's supposed to be the same guy.
Did he experience going to?
That's what I don't know. I don't know if it's the same guy in the way that Peter Parker and Peter B. Parker are the same guy from Into the Spider-Verse. You know what I mean? Our Pretty Boy Parker and our Sad Parker are the same person.
Yeah, right. But we don't know if he is the Spider Noir who did go to Miles.
Yeah.
Does Miles?
I do not
dimension.
know.
Okay.
They may have told
Well, we
us
don't know
that.
yet. I mean, maybe they have. Yeah. I don't know.
I personally think that if we're not going to try and tie this into the Spider-Verse films, then we don't acknowledge it at all. We say he's a different one. We say it's multiverse and we can do whatever we want, right? And we write our own story for it. Otherwise, we got a whole other layer of complexity, which I think this character already has enough of.
Well, does he say his name is Peter Parker in Into the Spider-Verse?
I don't think so.
He doesn't?
I don't think so, which is interesting because I could be wrong. And I want to double check this before I say something stupid that people are going to laugh at me for. Whoops, that's not his.
Are you thinking about why he's called Ben Reilly in this show?
I was
instead
going to
of Peter
say
Parker?
He's not Peter Parker. In the iteration that I know, he's not a Peter Parker.
Oh, he's never Peter Parker.
I don't
in
believe
the
so.
comics.
I don't
Or
believe so.
For the most part. Yeah.
No, I think he's, from what I know, he's been a Ben Parker, which is interesting. I could be wrong on that, but I think he's been a Ben Parker is what I thought, and maybe I'm wrong on that. Which is interesting. That's Peter's dad, but maybe he's been Peter Parker at times.
It looks like he is, or at least known as Peter Parker based on Wikipedia.
You're telling me that they're saying it's Ben Reilly?
Well, so this is just the Wikipedia article about the character.
Yeah. Sorry, I was asking you. Yeah, okay, I see that. But as far as the show goes, you're saying that they're calling him Ben Reilly?
Yeah, I mean, look at the poster. It says B. Reilly on the.
That's so interesting.
But I'm pretty sure that there's some rights issue and they didn't have the right to the name Peter Parker or something along those lines.
That's so interesting.
I should have done a better research on it.
And I should know more about this character. I'm supposed to be your comic nerd, and I should know a little more on that. Let me finish my thought, because I have different thoughts on him being Ben Reilly.
Okay, go ahead.
It being live action, not automatically bad. But our introduction to this character is a fantastically animated film with a brief appearance at the very end of a second animated film, right? And so I talked about this in the last episode. There's a certain charm that animation has to me that live action often doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it'll be interesting to watch a jump of how the audience receives the jump from animation to live action for this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying they should have done an Into the Spider-Verse style for this show, because who knows how long that would have taken, who knows how expensive that would have been. But I think it would have been interesting to maybe give him his own art style. Like we saw Gwen got her own art style for her own universe in Across the Spider-Verse, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to watch the show and feel like it made sense for it to be a live action thing rather than be an animated thing. That's the only like real thought I have about this show.
Well, okay, so a couple things to address what you said there. So, number one, it looks like here, it looks like they decided to set it in its own universe and focus on a different main character than Peter Parker.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like they just chose to do it. It doesn't seem like it was a rights issue or anything like that. Maybe they just want to kind of separate the character from Peter Parker a little bit, from like the cultural zeitgeist of Peter Parker.
He's a very different character, whether we call him Peter Parker or not, than what most people know Spider-Man as.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't hate them giving him a different name,
Mm-hmm.
just because if he is Peter Parker, unless they do something crazy with the show, he's not going to be your average bullied high school kid.
Well, Nick Cage is
Nowhere
also
near.
like in his 60s, isn't
Yeah.
he? I mean, I don't know.
I don't know how old Nicolas Cage is, but this character is supposed to be like
61.
holy, Nicolas Cage older than I thought.
I mean, he doesn't look 61, but like, I think I'd be a little more excited if we were getting like 30s or 40s Nick Cage, like when he was playing Ghost Rider or something like that, you know?
Yeah. I mean, this character is supposed to be like 30s, 40s. He's a private detective. He's down. He's in the...
But maybe you don't even see his face that much. I don't know, like,
I don't know how they'll
what
do
the
it.
dynamic is there with Spider Noir. Like, do you see him as like Peter Parker, or like as his...
And that's where I'm coming up short, because I think that my understanding of the character, which I could be wrong, clearly we just learned that with the name thing, is that Peter Parker, Ben Reilly, whatever his name is a private detective, and he uses his powers as Spider-Man to help himself solve his cases as well as bring down crime at the same time, if that makes sense. So I think it would make sense for us to see in and out of mask. That doesn't mean that's how they'll handle this, right?
Right.
The only set photos that I've seen of this show has been Nicolas Cage on the car in the suit. I don't even know if you know what I'm talking about.
No, I haven't seen that.
Okay. So I haven't seen.
Was that leaked,
anything
or was
else.
that an official set
I think that was
photo?
leaked. This was a while. This was when it like first got announced.
Gotcha.
So I just think it's interesting to do a live action, I guess. Good or bad, we'll see.
So the other point that I was going to make as far as the live action goes is that I'm pretty sure that they filmed these episodes with a black and white camera.
Okay.
So a camera that's specifically made to film it in black and white. Now, I'm fairly certain that you can watch it in color, like that you will be able to watch it in color or black and white.
Okay.
When they release it on Amazon Prime. I'm pretty sure that's why they put those two posters out, to kind of announce that.
The options.
Yeah, but the fact that they filmed it with black and white cameras, I think that that will look better as a black and white. I mean, it's noir, right?
Yeah.
That will look better than if you shot something with a camera in color and then change it to black and white in post-production. Like, it will look very good as black and white if you shoot it in black and white, you know?
Can I ask a question that I don't know if you'll have the answer to? It might be a little silly. I read or saw somewhere at some point in my life that when we were filming in black and white, people wore like outrageous colors to get the right contrast.
They probably did, yeah.
Do you think that's something they did for this film, if that's how they're filming it?
I don't know, because if they filmed it in black and white and they're also showing it in color, that means that they somehow like colorized it after the fact, which I don't know the process of how Technicolor was done, like with the Wizard of Oz, but I think that that's something they did. I think they shot it in black and white and then had some technology back then that pulled the color out.
Okay.
But I don't know if you can change how the colors look
Got you.
by doing that. So maybe
So in theory, everyone's got on like the proper colors and not anything crazy.
In theory,
right?
yes.
In
yeah.
theory,
But
okay.
no, it says here that the production used black and white cameras and filters during filming. So cameras and filters. So maybe
Okay.
they didn't shoot everything in black and white possibly to
Yeah.
capture the authentic style of early 1930s noir films, such as featuring long shadows. So this to
That'd be
me
so interesting.
kind of speaks to it, maybe a little bit of why live action is the choice over animation, is because they're trying to capture this style of this type of film that was
That's
coming
fair.
out in the 30s.
That's fair. Yeah, and I wasn't meaning to diss the live action choice.
No, but I was just giving
it
you
does
some
make
more
sense.
context, I guess, as to why maybe a live action also just gets more people to watch a TV show.
That's probably true. That's true.
But as far outside of like getting more a larger audience or more money, I'm looking at it like, what are some creative reasons maybe why they chose to do that?
I mean, yeah, I think that reasoning right now is enough to tide me over.
Yeah.
I want to watch it, and we'll see if they did that.
Okay, yeah, they've got the animation guy interested. So.
yeah. I think if I watch it, I'm like, wow, they did what they said they're gonna do. They captured that essence. No complaints from me. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Do I still want to see more of his world animated? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think something that's very interesting to me, and this is like wildly topical for me in my personal life, because where I work, we just got a full collection of the first run that he's ever appears in. So he gets his own book in this Spider-Verse run. It's like a 4-issue run. And now I'm kicking myself. I feel like I should at least flip through it. I should have read it real quick today before I came over here.
Oh, it's okay. You can,
because then I could have had a little bit more knowledge for you.
prep for the future. Yeah.
Yeah. The only other thing about this that I want to touch on is them calling him Ben Reilly. Because from our quick little search is that he's Peter Parker. I thought he was Ben Parker for some reason. Maybe it's because he was Ben. They call him Ben Reilly. But Ben Reilly has such a very specific connotation for Spider-Man characters, which is you know of a Ben Reilly. I don't know if you know of Ben Reilly, but you do know a Ben Reilly.
And Marvel Superhero Squad Online, or
Yes, that's what I meant. In Across the Spider-Verse,
we see him at one point, right?
yeah, the Scarlet Spider, the guy who's always flexing his muscles and he's voiced by Andy Samberg.
Okay.
That's Ben Reilly.
Yeah.
Scarlet Spider is his.
Well, we don't know a
his
ton about
alias.
him though from that movie. Though,
You don't know
right?
a ton about him, but I'm saying you know that character.
Mm-hmm.
The general storyline for him is that he is a clone of Peter Parker who replaces Peter Parker, but doesn't know that he's replaced Peter Parker. And then it's a whole clone saga, and a lot goes on there, and there's a lot of opinions of that in the comic book community. People have strong feelings on that era of comics.
Okay, gotcha.
I think Ben Reilly is an interesting character. I think he could have been handled a lot better and got the short end of the stick a lot. But ultimately, when someone says Ben Reilly, I think of that. And Ben Reilly has had a couple different iterations throughout the years. He's had a couple different suits, a couple different storylines. He went and did his own thing aside from Peter Parker, and that was cool and that's great. But to call this Spider-Man Noir Ben Reilly is very, very interesting to me, because it's something totally different in the spider lore.
I bet you that it has nothing to do with the cloning at all. I bet you that they're just using another name that Spider-Man has been known as to differentiate him from Peter Parker.
And I'm sure you're right. And like that's probably the next best name after Peter Parker, right? Is Ben Reilly. People know that name.
It just makes you as a comic book fan think of that.
That's what I think of, which like I'm sure they will not even address it, and that's the smart thing to do. I think that's the right way to handle that.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be in the back of my mind the whole time.
Interesting.
Like I think you can make. There are probably so many people who have just seen the live action Spider-Man movies. Maybe they've seen the Spider-Verse films, but they probably won't even think of Ben Reilly as a name for Spider-Man. So if you're going to do that, there's probably a lot of people you could get watching the show and use a totally different name and it won't matter.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're not going to watch this show unless you're already a fan of the Spider-Man movies. Or
That's
like
probably
Spider-Man
true.
in general,
Yeah, that's
right?
true. Yeah,
I seriously doubt anyone who isn't a fan of Spider-Man movies is going to be like, let me watch this show, right?
Nicolas Cage fans.
I guess so, yeah.
I mean, it's not necessarily a good or a bad thing, but it's something that I'm going to be thinking about for sure. So it's just seems interesting.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I didn't really recognize most of the cast, but one person I did recognize was this guy named Brendan Gleeson. He's going to play a mob boss. I'm assuming the primary bad guy. Brendan Gleeson, he plays Mad Eye Moody in the Harry Potter
That's why I know him.
series.
I was like, I know that name.
He's also like the general in Edge of Tomorrow that like Tom Cruise is like trying to get to and explain.
Oh, right.
He's probably in some other stuff, a lot of British stuff, I'm sure, but
That's the things I'll know.
he seems like he might be a good mob boss. I feel like, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think so.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they have told us that there's going to be some prominent mob boss, whether it's going to be a named person or not, we'll see, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a little bit of me hoping he's someone specific. I think he'll do a good job. I guess it depends a lot on what the writers do, right? What the director wants from him. But I think he has the potential to be a good mob boss, absolutely.
Right. So the last thing I wanted to bring up about this series is that it's going to be 8 episodes, okay?
Okay. So pretty standard for TV today?
Yes, exactly. Pretty standard today. So one of the things that I've been thinking about recently is how TV has like changed over the years, like from when we were kids.
Okay.
When we were kids. Like you said, 8 episodes is pretty standard today, which is true with like Star Wars and Marvel shows on Disney Plus, Stranger Things. You know, I think probably like stuff like The Boys.
Yeah, that might be a little longer. Invincible, I think, is around that.
About a lot of TV shows today are 8 episodes,
Like 8 to
12 episodes, and they're kind of like, you know, 45 minutes to an hour or whatever.
Right.
Back when we were kids, there obviously weren't streaming services.
Right.
So a lot of TV shows were like exactly like 43, 45 minutes, whatever it was, like to get an hour plus commercial break.
Right.
24 episodes, and they came out every single year.
Mm-hmm.
And it was when you look at TV shows today, they don't come out every single year.
Yeah, true.
Sometimes it's 2, 3, maybe more years in between shows, right? And I was just thinking about that, and I was just thinking about like TV has become a lot more like movies today than it was when we were kids. Like it's a lot more cinematic, and like it feels more like you're waiting for the next movie rather than it's the next season.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is because like the budgets are bigger, and I mean I guess maybe that's what audiences want. But I just wanted to bring it up because I think that I'm just going to talk for a little bit here. But basically, I think Game of Thrones was a big transition point for TV because I feel like before Game of Thrones, you had stuff, you had like The Sopranos, Breaking Bad, Walking Dead. Like those are like dramas that were like large scale, very much like specific concepts that told these like grand stories, which is different than a lot of TV that was like serialized, like episode by episode before that. But I think Game of Thrones was like the first TV show where it's like, wow, this is like a movie quality, right? This is like movie quality.
Okay.
But Game of Thrones came out almost every single year for 10 years. They released 8 seasons in 10 years.
Okay.
Stranger Things just released its 5th season in 10 years.
Can you hit me with the number you said for Game of Thrones real quick again?
They released 8 seasons in 10 years.
Okay.
Maybe even less than that.
Do you know how long their episodes were, or their?
Maybe it was
the
8 seasons and 9 years. It might have been. There were 10 episode seasons for the most part until they got to the end.
Okay.
Let me just make sure I got this right. Game of Thrones. So they started in 2011, and then the TV show ended in 2019. So yeah, that's 8 years. So one season every year.
Okay.
I think it was what they filmed for 10 years. I think they started filming in 2009.
Okay. So that's 80 episodes?
So yeah, 80 episodes.
Okay.
And these are like high quality episodes. Like you look at like the Battle of the Bastards.
Yeah.
Even towards the end. And so I guess the reason I'm bringing this up is, what do you think about how TV has changed to be more like movies? You're getting less content, but the content is like higher quality. And is there like what are the pros and cons? Are we maybe like losing something? Is there like a compromise that we should be striving for, type of a thing? I'll give you a little bit more here. So One Piece live action, first season comes out 2023.
Yeah.
Second season comes out 2026 next year. Okay.
Yeah.
That's 3 years or 4 years? That's 2023 to 24 to 25, 26. 3 years.
Yeah.
Stranger Things, the first season was 2016.
Okay.
Second season was 2017.
Okay.
Third season was 2019. So a 2-year gap there. Not terrible. Fourth season was 2022. Maybe understandable because of COVID.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I have thoughts on that one specifically.
Season 5, 2025. 3 years after season 4.
Okay.
Now, these two shows, I think, like, it's especially notable because you're working with younger actors.
Yeah.
And I think that there's two detriments to shooting TV shows like this, where you space them out over years. I know this has been a topic online recently, but
yeah, especially with Stranger Things.
Yeah.
New season coming out.
Yeah. But it's not, so number one, you have your actors aging, maybe aging too fast for your story. And I'm looking at like the future of One Piece, and I'm like, how long until we have our 18, 19-year-old Luffy looking 35, you know?
Yeah.
And so there's the actors' ages, but then the other thing is the audience interest. Like the audience, I feel like I forgot most of the Stranger Things story in the past 3 years, you know?
Yeah.
Because like the story of an entire series is a little harder for you as an audience member to maintain than a movie that came out a couple years ago. And even with movies, I think the perfect length for a sequel to come out is 2 years after.
Okay.
I think the Batman has taken way too long. For
when did we get that
two.
one? 22?
22, yeah, 22.
Okay.
Like,
so it comes out next year, right? 26?
Yeah.
So it'll be 4 years?
yeah.
Okay.
But I just think that, like, in my opinion, I think that so on one hand, there are those negative aspects. On the other hand, I don't think I would watch TV if it was the way that it was before Game of Thrones. Like, I don't think I would
Weekly,
watch.
like,
Yeah, or like 24 episodes coming out per year, and it's like a lot smaller scale. If you're looking at like 24 or like Law and Order, I don't know if I would even like take the time to watch 24 episodes of a show. That's too big. That would like be like too big of a time commitment for me.
Yeah.
If it's coming out every year, like I don't know if that makes sense. It's like I would just watch movies, and it's because shows like Game of Thrones came out that I'm like, okay, TV can almost be at that same level of a movie. And so those are the types of shows that I like. So I don't know if I would watch them if it was how it used to be, but is that worth the negative trade-offs? Is there like a balance there? So I know I just threw a bunch at you. Would you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah. I mean, okay. So I think a really easy one to tackle is the age thing, right? One Piece live action and Stranger Things are two pretty good examples of where that's a problem. And I think that's just because it's younger actors. I think that there's a sweet spot where you can have actors who are supposed to be playing characters who are 23 to like 45, right?
Okay.
And that's a big range to know that.
Yeah.
But I think you can have actors who are supposed to be playing that, and you can let the actors age it and it won't matter that much. Once you start having your actors who are supposed to be 12 is dramatic, 16, looking like they're 27, might be a problem.
Yeah.
Or you have actors who are supposed to be late 30s, looking like they're pushing 50, could be a problem.
Yeah.
So I think it depends on the show.
Yeah.
It depends on the show.
Sorry, just to quickly interrupt you. Like, nobody cares that David Harbour is 50, I don't know, 53 or something, and playing a guy in his 40s in Stranger Things. They don't care about that.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Our issue is the kids, right?
Yeah.
They're all early 20s now. I don't actually know.
I mean, Joe Keery's 33. He's playing
That's
a 21-year-old.
He's older than I thought. Okay.
But I don't think he looks 33. So
I don't think
he's
so.
okay in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, if we just talk about the main cast, right? The main. I don't know what the main cast for Stranger Things is right now. I'll be totally honest with you. I don't know what our main
That's
cast
fair.
is.
No, but I get your point.
Our kids.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be juniors in high school.
16, yeah. Most the kids who are like those four main guys, and
Yeah.
like Al, they're like 16.
16.
Yeah.
and they're all 20,
21, 22.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably the older ones are 25ish. I'm guessing. I don't know.
I
What
think
the
that
difference in their ages.
Caleb McLaughlin is 24. He's old.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
And
So
I think that Millie Bobby Brown is 21. I think she's the youngest. But
I think that, I mean, movies or TV shows, having actors who are supposed to be high schoolers is rough.
sure.
Whether the actors are that age or not. Because that's an age where kids can look all sorts of ages, right?
Change, yeah, and you change quickly.
Yeah. So I think that's just a rough thing to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, yeah, the One Piece is a whole other thing because that's 1,000 episode long anime, manga, whatever you want to look at it as, right? And so that's, in my point of view, it's just, like we're just not going to get everything that the anime is, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. I think we can still tell a great story with that.
Yeah.
And they have so far. But yeah, you're running out of time with that one. I think Stranger Things, it's about kids in high school, right?
Yeah.
Kids started by going into high school and now not even graduating.
They were in middle
yet.
school originally.
That's right. And as far as their ages go, you talked about releasing in 2022, right? So we had 2016, 2017, and 2019. So that's a 2 year, 1 year, and then 2 year jump, right?
Yeah.
Which is, I think 2 years is fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's whatever. And then we go from 2019 to 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned COVID. I think that's something to talk about. Is like, we lost time there with a lot of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they weren't working on it. And then I don't know the exact timing on this, but I also know we had the actors strike. And I don't know if that just affected the most recent season or
That's
also the
fair.
one before that. So that caused a delay as well. That's out of, like, not necessarily out of their hands, but for the benefit of the people making the film, they took the time, right?
That's true. No, that's true.
And so whatever your feelings on the actor strike is, I guess, that happened and that affected it.
Mm-hmm.
And so looking at that, would the show have come out last year or year before? That seems like wishful thinking to me.
Yeah.
But I think
last year would have been fine with me. 2 year gap, I think, is okay.
That's your sweet spot.
Well, because, okay, if you look at Game of Thrones, it came out every year, 10 episodes of high quality television every year.
Okay.
I think the general consensus is that the quality did decline towards the end of that show. Now, they were working off of material that George R. Martin hadn't written at some point, and that is probably one factor there. But I think that it is reasonable to say that the fact that they were doing one season of this like massive undertaking, 10 episodes of high quality television every year, like perhaps if they had given a year, an extra year in between some of those later seasons to develop it a little more, maybe we would have gotten something that people were a little bit happier at the end. So that's kind of what I'm like, if you can get a TV show out every year that's like a shorter seasons, like shorter episodes, that's like that level of production, great, like that's fine. But I feel like maybe you need that maybe year and a half or 2 years to do that, you know?
Yeah.
No, don't worry. I got you.
Okay. We're not talking about that right now. I just want to bring it up to talk about later.
Yeah.
I just want to double check. The two main things you were concerned about as far as time passing is age of our actors and interest.
And audience interest. Yeah. Like, does the audience interest fade? Does it make audiences, maybe not angry is the right word, but irritated that they have to wait longer, you know? And is that something that we are okay with dealing with? And I say we, I mean, we as the audience, are we okay with dealing with that? And because there will be a drop off, there will be a number of people who'll be like, I'm not interested anymore. Is that worth it to the television studios? And is that worth it to us, I guess, as the viewer? It's like a twofold question kind of thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can't speak for the television studios. My best guess is that if they think they have a story and characters compelling enough that they can wait 3 years or whatever and people will come back, then they're going to do that. If they think that can make them a better product, they're going to do that, absolutely. Right?
Well, I think with Stranger Things, like if you are watching Stranger Things this whole time, like you want to see how it ends, like no matter what, right?
Yeah, you're gonna watch this last season. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
As far as audience interest goes, I think that I am one of the more patient people when it comes to things like this.
Mhm.
I see a lot of people getting upset about having to wait a long time. Like I think Beyond the Spider-Verse is a big topic for this, right?
Mhm.
People are upset with it being pushed back, with it being so far away. And for me, and this probably comes from my experience as someone who plays video games, and that sounds a little crazy. I am okay to wait for quite a long time if you're going to give me a good product. I don't want you to give me a date and then push it back and push it back and push it back, or give me a date and then give me a crappy product. I am patient enough, and there is enough media being made today that if I want to be entertained by something, there are so many other things I can go and do. I will still be interested in that when it comes out. I might forget about it for a year, and then they drop a trailer and I'm excited again. And honestly, that's how I was for Stranger Things. Stranger Things hadn't been in my mind until people started talking about this most recent season. I probably hadn't thought about it for like a year.
Yeah.
And now that's out, I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah.
Like,
But you haven't watched it yet.
I haven't watched it yet, and that's because One Piece, and you know that.
Okay. All right. Fine.
For me, not a problem. I couldn't care. I want a good product. And that goes for all media, movies, TV show, video games, whatever it may be, right? Books, it doesn't even matter. Give me a good product and we're good. General audience, I think people will voice their displeasure with a lot of things, but if it's something that they enjoyed the first iteration, Spider-Verse is a good example. Stranger Things is a good example. If you enjoyed the first season of Stranger Things, if you enjoyed that second season of Stranger Things, you're probably going to watch everything that comes out, regardless of how long it takes, I think. And so people will voice that they're displeased with how long it takes, and then they'll come back to it. And so there's probably some very slight audience retention that's lost, but I don't think it's a big enough deal to be that much of a stressor. Do I think that the loss of audience retention is like worth it for the studios to not want to do it every year like Game of Thrones? I don't know. I think that's tough. And part of the reason I think that's tough is because, and this is general, this is a super general thing I'm about to say, and I know that. I think there is, if I had to guess, there's a lot more going into post-production today than there was with Game of Thrones. Or even shows before that. And I could be straight up lying to you.
Okay.
I could be wrong. But like, just me thinking about Stranger Things versus Game of Thrones had a lot of, fantastic backgrounds, whether it was CGI they did after the fact or places they visited or built up or whatever. There's a lot of costume design, and I respect that, and they did a good job. They had the acting, and then whatever touch-up work they had to do at the end, all the editing and all that. And I'm not trying to discredit any of that. But when I think of Stranger Things, I think of them having to make Ella move stuff with her mind, them having to make a Demogorgon, Demobats, Demodogs, whole new dimensions. You know what I mean? As well as the stuff beforehand, the acting.
Sure.
And then the general editing. And so I don't know how much time things take, but that's just something that crosses my mind about the length of time it takes to create a product.
Okay. Yeah. We obviously don't know, but I think that the pre-production was actually the big difference maker, like the prep for each new season, because Game of Thrones was working off of an existing story, whereas the Duffer Brothers have to basically write everything from scratch. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't think about that. That's interesting. Yeah.
But Game of Thrones, like the.
Can I ask a quick thing? Unless you're going to talk on the same topic of pre-production.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
I just want your thoughts on that with One Piece then, I guess. The live action One Piece. Because that's got a manga, that's got a full anime, that's got the writer who's willing to work with the people creating the show.
I think part of that, might have to do with the adaptation process because I do not know, but I'm just theorizing here.
Mhm.
A lot of anime adaptations have bad raps, or it's like this sucks, like so. And I think people were really generally pleased with what they did with the first season of One Piece, but I think that like there was a lot of care put into that to make sure that that translated well.
Okay.
So that could be part of it. I honestly don't. I was surprised that it wasn't releasing this year, to be honest.
Okay.
I don't know how much they need Oda, but Oda is still writing.
Yeah.
How much they need his approval and stuff, but he's still writing the manga.
I don't know if it's a thing of approval. I just know that he's been very willing to be working with them.
But I know he approved all the casting personally.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I just wanted your 2 cents on that one. I guess.
that's fair. I mean, I don't know. They may be taking a long time to just because it's a story that's so grand,
Yeah.
I don't know. But Game of Thrones is too. Like Game of
Yeah.
Thrones. I think Game of Thrones set a standard. I don't know if it's an attainable standard though. I was just going to mention that the showrunners worked for 2 years on the first season before filming it. I'm pretty sure.
Of Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the subsequent seasons actually they prepped in less time, right? More like a series of months.
Yeah.
Because then they had to start shooting. But
I have...
sorry, one more thing.
Go ahead.
You talked about Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
And I think when you're looking at something Across the Spider-Verse, it's like a little bit different because Beyond the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse are essentially two parts of the same story. Like it's not just like one is like a sequel that continues our character's journey or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Across the Spider-Verse ended with a cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it didn't really complete that story that it was telling. So I think that there is an expectation of like, oh, okay, so we already have a complete story. You just gave the first part to us. Like, and so there's an expectation that it wouldn't take too long to get the next part because it's part of the same story, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it's been delayed, I think maybe is, I don't know if the red flag is the right word, but like people are like, well, what the heck? Like, why do we need to rewrite it? Like why didn't you have the story already thought out before you like ended it on a cliffhanger here?
Yeah. I know that what a lot of what they've been saying is have to do with like the rewrites. Like I know that's been happening, right? Which means, people having to redo their acting, it's voice acting, right? Them having to redo their lines and such. But I think, and I know I'm the one who brought up Spider-Verse. I know this is not me, but I do think it's a little bit of an interesting case because not just because it's animated, but because of the way it's animated, kind of animation it is. Like do you know what the release year is for Into versus Across?
Into was 2018 and Across was 22?
22?
I think.
I'm gonna look up here.
Let me just check.
23.
Oh, 23. We're both wrong.
Okay. So,
but it was supposed to be 24 was when Beyond was originally supposed to come out in 24.
Yeah. But Across also got pushed, right? And that's
sure. I think But they weren't originally planning on making a sequel to Into the Spider-Verse until it did well.
That's true.
And then they did say we're doing 2 movies.
Right. Okay. First thing, which isn't what I was going to say first, but I'm going to say it first now because I feel like I need to say it. Otherwise, it's going to be like lost in translation.
Yeah.
They did something stupid, which is give an audience a date.
Yeah.
I think that's a terrible move on making anything. Because if something goes wrong, now everyone's disappointed.
Okay.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
If you want to say that, we can talk about
I want to say something about that.
We can talk about that. That's fine.
So I've been watching a lot of videos about like the making of movies recently and like why they've been like difficult like to make. And it seems like a constant theme of like why productions have struggled is because the studio sets a date for it to be released, and then the script isn't ready, and they have to start shooting without a script, and then they meet every day before shooting, and they have to like determine it. And a lot of the videos I've been watching have been like, about movies that are generally well regarded and why the making of it was like terrible, but it turned out with a great product. But I'm sure there's countless other stories of where that didn't work out. But no, I totally agree that like setting a date it's not a great idea. You shouldn't set a date until you start filming, in my opinion.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think that gets interesting with animation.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Specifically this animation. Like for Across the Spider-Verse, they took a year just to figure out how to animate Hobie. Because he's so unique in an animation that is already so new, right? And they're trying to throw him into this. And so that's just like my one example. But then we also see, I'm trying to count, 1, 2, 3, 4 different worlds, all with their own art style, and how many different Spider-Man with their own art style, each different movement. And so I think that like with Spider-Verse specifically, maybe this is my bias towards animation. I have leniency. I have lenience because there is so much simply as far as the animation aspect of that goes that they have to work on.
Sure.
Do I still think they shouldn't have given us a date? Am I still upset that we don't have the movie yet? Absolutely. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what you're saying about the animation is understandable, but I still think that you have to, you don't want to be rewriting the script at this point or whatever.
Yeah. I don't even want to touch on that because I don't even understand how that's happening. That's insane.
I don't think they're doing it now. I mean, I don't know if they have a finalized script for that yet. I think they do.
I think they do.
Yeah,
I remember the last time we got pushed back, I think they were talking about that, and that was earlier this year, right?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't really remember how we got to this point.
Anyways, I hear what you're saying though. Script scrapped is a search for Beyond the Spider-Verse. June 2027.
There was a delay.
They reworked the ending. Okay. But I don't know when they did all this.
Yeah. We'll see. I know we weren't talking about this. We were talking about TV show. We just kind of shifted.
No,
I
that's
apologize
okay.
for that.
So just circling back to the TV shows really quickly.
I pulled up The Boys because I think that they've been pretty consistent with what they do.
Yeah. So The Boys released season 1, 2019.
Okay.
Season 2, 2020.
Okay.
Season 3, 2022. They probably shot that during or after COVID.
Yeah.
And then season 4 is 2024. Season 5 comes out next year, 2026, which is the final season.
That's right. I didn't watch a trailer for that yet. I don't know if you did. They just dropped a trailer for it today.
I watched a little bit of it, but I haven't seen season 4. So
don't watch it then. There's gonna be so many spoilers, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Anyways,
so that's a year, 2 years, 2 years, 2 years.
Yeah, which
so that's
I think,
perfect for you.
Yeah, I think that's good. The Bear, granted, it's contained to a few locations. There's a finite number of characters that you're working with.
I might be overstepping saying this. I think it's not as grand as a product of something as like Game of Thrones or The Boys or Stranger Things.
It's not, for sure. But I do think that the quality of the filmmaking or whatever, the production quality, and like the way that it comes off, is like shorter episode seasons. Like the way that they make it is very high quality.
Absolutely, I didn't mean to miss that. Absolutely.
But the scale is definitely smaller.
Yeah,
it's come out every year for the past 4 years.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that because I only started watching it this last year.
Yeah.
So I've been just playing catch up.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then The Last of Us first season came out in 23. Second season came out this year. So it's a 2-year gap there. So I think that is kind of like the sweet spot that I think that you want to shoot for. None of those have like child actors though. The ones that have like the younger actors, the young adult actors, those are the ones that have been struggling with those gaps, I feel, you know?
Yeah. And now here's my question to you. The Boys.
Yeah.
Has one child actor in the form of Homelander's son? One primary child actor in the form of Homelander's son? Do you think, given that, and just your general idea of the age of all the actors, let's say the season that's coming out next year
Mm-hmm.
should just not get pushed back. Just wasn't announced to come out until late 2027. Do you think you have a problem with that gap?
I would have a problem with it just from the perspective of like, I think that's making people wait too long between seasons,
Okay.
audiences. But the age for the one kid who's not a star, I don't think that would bother me.
Okay.
I think that when it stacks, it becomes a problem. Like Stranger Things, you have 2 seasons in a row where the gap is 3 years.
Yeah.
One Piece, we started off with a gap of 3 years. When's the next season going to come out? 2029?
Yeah, I don't even know. It's gonna be crazy.
So, I don't know.
It's gonna be crazy. I think something that just came to my mind is we're talking about the characters aging up, right? Even if we have child actors, which, okay, I don't know why you have child actors if it's not important that they're children, that the characters are children.
Yeah.
But even if we have child actors, if the age of the character doesn't matter, does them aging up really matter that much? Like these are supposed to be going from middle school to high school and then not even graduating out.
Right. Whereas like Homelander's son
is kind of
whatever. He's
vaguely
just
there.
a kid. He's a teenager. He's yeah.
And all of the other characters are grown adults. So however much the age doesn't matter.
Yeah, and you
really,
can
right?
you can arbitrarily establish like how much time has passed.
Yeah.
Like you
Versus-
can make it real world time with something like this, whereas like Stranger Things.
Something like The Boys, you mean?
Yeah, with something
Yeah.
like The Boys, you can make it like real time.
Has passed?
Yeah, like maybe it has actually been 2 years,
3 years,
3
yeah.
years since the last adventure we went on with them.
That's fair. Yeah.
Unless you lock your story into like we pick it up right when we left off.
Yeah.
You know?
Which I think they've done a couple times. But I could be totally making that up.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
I
remember it
kind
too
of
well.
forget. Yeah. I know the Bear does that, but they're every year, so it's like fine, it's whatever.
Yeah.
I think the reason I bring it up is because I think that One Piece, like we were just talking about the One Piece live action, I think it's whether they acknowledge it or not, for where I am in the story, it is so important. Even if we just want to go up to time skip, right? Up until Sabaody. I think it's so important that this is a 17-year-old kid going through everything he just went through.
Yeah.
And so the idea that might be some 27-year-old really throws me. Versus a story where maybe we started with this person, they're 19, and it doesn't really matter that they're 19, and we end the show and they're 27. Couldn't care, right? So I think, yes, it's more noticeable to child actors, but I think it also matters whether the age of the character matters to the story.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean?
Definitely. Like it almost makes me not want One Piece to shoot through to Marineford. I think maybe you go through Annie's lobby and that's pretty satisfactory.
Yeah, I think you and I talked about it, yeah.
Because I mean, you make a good point. If we're not getting to Sabaody for another 15 years,
Like, bro,
like-
you're telling me that, oh man, like imagine Return to Sabaody, bro, and they're 35. Like,
I mean, I don't know, maybe
crazy.
older. I don't know.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, I guess my answer to your big question is like whether it's worth the trade-offs for how it was for Game of Thrones versus how
Or
it
do you
is
think,
now.
or maybe not even just like if it's worth the trade-off, maybe like, is there a middle ground that we should be shooting for to optimize audience enjoyment and quality of?
I mean, two year probably is pretty solid for your audience engagement. Is probably relatively okay for your aging of characters, but then it just comes down to the story you're telling. It comes down to the storytelling, who you've cast.
Yeah, sure. It's
What
subjective.
audience
Was what
you've
you're saying.
grabbed.
It's subjective.
Like what if you started a show that's geared towards 15 and 16-year-olds, and then you wait 3 years to release another season, and now those kids are out of high school and they're not interested anymore,
yeah, that's
right?
a great point. Yeah.
So yeah, I think it depends. I guess it depends is what I'm trying to say.
yeah.
I think 2 years is a solid amount of time to wait. But as I said earlier, I'm patient. Give me the good product, and you'll have few complaints from me.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. All right, let's jump into a fun question now.
Okay.
one thing that's always interesting is to kind of look back on what we consider to be classic movies.
Mhm.
So I thought it'd be fun to talk about what movies that have come out recently, let's say, in the past 10 years, do we think will be considered classics in the future?
Right.
Now, there's a couple things that I wanted to like ask you about before we actually jump into like what movies you and I are thinking of for this. First of all, how long ago do you think it should have been released before we can consider it a classic? Like I picked 10 years because I watched a YouTube video about this by this guy named Karsten Rundquist.
Okay.
Where he said that he went over a few movies that he thinks would be classics, considered classics down the line. And he said that he's only picking movies from the past 10 years because he thinks that beyond 10 years ago, we already know whether or not it will be considered a classic. He didn't say that
they are
they are
or not.
Yeah, he didn't say that they are already considered classics, like a movie released 12 years ago, but he says that we know whether it will be considered a classic or not.
We know where they stand in history, basically.
Basically, yeah. We kind of have an understanding of how those movies will be perceived in history in the future. Whereas like within the past 10 years, it's still kind of hard to tell because they haven't really settled in the cultural zeitgeist yet or whatever. What do you think about?
So what I will say is my list trying to put together some movies for us to talk about this, I looked at the past 10 years. And I guess my reasoning for it was, I think that, pretty much what you're saying is that I think they're recent enough that even if it came out 10 years ago, some people haven't really settled on where it sits. Mm-hmm. And then I think I kind of use the term classic and vintage and use them interchangeably when I think about this. Mm-hmm. Something's vintage when it's 20 years old, right?
Yeah, you can also jump in while you're talking about this. You could also maybe throw in like, what do you think makes something a classic? Like, what is a classic, right? So if you want to incorporate that in there, you can.
And I honestly was going to throw that question your way before we talked about this.
Okay, sure.
Because I think...
Just go ahead and say what you're going to say.
Yeah, I struggle to define what a classic is. Mm-hmm. Because to me, someone says classic and I think of something like Casablanca. Mm-hmm. But classic is totally something like Rocky. Mm-hmm. But that's not... To me, Rocky's just a good movie. Yeah, I don't think Rocky can go, oh, that's a classic. Like, I just don't say those words, I don't think. Mm-hmm. But it absolutely is. But yeah, in my head, I was like, okay, 20 years ago, I think something came out 20 years ago, we can look at it and say, that is a classic.
Okay.
And so part of it was, I didn't want to look at everything for the past 19 years. And also, I think that, I guess it's that thought process that I was going through movies and I was like, yeah, but that's obvious. That's duh. Like Iron Man crossed my mind. And I was like, no, we all know that. Maybe not we all. I think a lot of people agree that's going to be a classic and that's not even a conversation
versus
something like Into the Spider-Verse. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, as far as I chose past 10 years because I think that's solid. I think exactly what I thought. The exact thought process that whoever the person you watch.
Yeah. Well, what do you think? Well, what do you think is like the amount of years that have to go by before we can definitively say this is considered a classic? 20?
I said 20. In my brain, I said 20. That's what I justified for myself.
Okay.
Simply because that's what we say for vintage things.
Yeah. I'm thinking more like 25, but I think that's just because we're in the year 2025, and I feel like it's weird to say anything in the 2000s is a classic at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, is Lord of the Rings a classic? At this point, I think so. That was 2001 through 2003, so maybe 20 years. I mean, I don't know. Is Shrek a classic at this point? That was 2001.
That crossed my mind too. I think that's a classic, brother.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
I think 20 years is pretty solid, and I had the temptation for 25 as well. Mm-hmm. But I thought about it, I was like, in 2 years, am I going to want to say 27 years? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I think 20 is where my line is. But I do want
Spider-Man, is that a classic? 2002? Or is that 2001?
2002, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I didn't like laughing, but I just think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But now I do want to ask you how you're defining a classic.
Okay.
Because I guess the only way that the way I made my list was obviously some amount of success, but then I think I tried to like look at what had an impact, whether it's in the film industry or in like the general world culture.
Yeah, a cultural impact. That's a good way to look at it.
Those are the two kind of categories I looked at.
I think you want to also look at, will that impact be lasting? Like will people in 50 years still watch, I don't know, let's go with Iron Man. Will they still watch Iron Man frequently or talk about it in a way to like, this was a big important thing or something that was, that made a mark on society and that still makes a mark like now, you know what I mean? Like something that has a lasting impact.
So the cultural impact, but the lasting cultural impact you think is the specific.
Yes. Like I don't like, do you think that we will consider Avatar a classic? Because I don't know if it has a lasting cultural impact.
And I think you and I are going to disagree on that one.
Okay.
And I think cultural impact is important, yes. But I think it's a classic for what it did for movie
for
making.
achievement. So
yeah.
the achievement level.
I know, like, even if we're just talking visually, which is a lot of its accolades, and that's fine. And that's valid, I think, for the most part.
Dang, 2 episodes in a row bringing up Avatar.
We can't help it.
Yeah.
I think Avatar, and then while I was thinking about Avatar, actually, Pirates of the Caribbean, I think are both things that we can look back on and say, as far as visual effects go, are important for the making of movies down the line.
Sure.
And will be for at least a decent amount of time to come.
Okay.
I would say for at least another 20 years. And that might be me shooting high. I don't know.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, all right. I think we kind of have an idea of what we're considering classics.
I think so.
Before we actually jump into some movies from the past 10 years that we think might be considered classics, I want to jump to 2014, okay? Because 2014 is more than 10 years ago.
Okay.
And I think 2014 has a lot of movies that may be considered classics in the future. And that is, 2014 was actually the year that I think I first got interested in movies, just because I was like, this is freaking sick. Like, I remember watching an edit on YouTube that was like 2014 film. And I was like, what? There's so many great movies. Like, I think 2019 and 2014 are two of like the greatest years in film in this century.
Oh my God, I wrote these down. I feel like I thought 19 was a banger year as well. Continue to say what you're saying. I'm listening, I promise.
So let me just go over some of these 2014 movies and let me know if you think any of these are classics, okay?
Okay.
Or not classics yet.
But like, we agree they'll be classics. Okay.
Okay.
Because it's just past that 10-year mark that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Okay.
X-Men Days of Future Past.
Okay.
Interstellar.
Okay.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
Captain America the Winter Soldier.
Uh-huh.
The Grand Budapest Hotel.
Okay.
American Sniper.
Okay.
Whiplash.
Okay.
Birdman.
Okay.
And I also know that The Imitation Game came out that year, and The Theory of Everything. I don't know if I think those were just like dramas of the time. I don't know if they'll be considered classics, but that's like just the lineup there. I'm like, if I could only watch those movies for the rest of my life,
you'd be happy?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me start with this. I haven't seen Birdman, Grand Budapest Hotel, Whiplash, or I think there's one more in there.
American Sniper?
I have seen American Sniper. That might have been it. The two you said at the end, I didn't know.
Whiplash and Birdman.
Oh, no, sorry. You made passing
Imitation
comments.
Game and
Yeah.
Theory of Everything.
Not that I didn't know them. I haven't seen them, is what I meant. So I can't speak on those. I did, you're right, you saying that, and I'm like writing down the ones I think might be. I did put Whiplash on there, and I actually wrote Whiplash. I wrote Whiplash and Interstellar down as ones I wanted to talk to you about, like, where's our line? Because depending on where our line is, I was going to say absolutely. I think those should be classics.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Whiplash. Everything I've read and watched about it leads me to believe absolutely yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
Interstellar, I think, I don't want to say it's that glaze. I don't know how to say it's like glazing too much. I don't know that there has been, and I'm sure there will be eventually, a better, and this is going to be so vague. But like how do I say this? Non-otherworldly space film. Like it's about humans on the planet Earth, and it does everything it needs to do. As far as, writing, acting, directing, the music, the cinematography, I think I'm giving that movie a 10 out of 10. I think I like, absolutely.
That's valid.
Days of Future Past, you said?
Yeah.
Interesting, because I jotted that down really quick right before we started. I was looking at your movies. I jotted that and First Class down actually, which I know
Is a little older, yeah.
Is older. This is a bias for me for sure towards X-Men movies and specifically the ones with the younger actors.
Mm-hmm.
I think Days of Future Past, in my opinion, will be a classic.
Okay.
Yes. I think my main reasoning for that is because we've seen so many movies with time travel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is one of the more unique time travel things we've seen because we're so used to someone going back in time. They can run into their old self or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And this is,
You're going
he's still
inside
here.
the mind. Yeah.
Sending the brain back in time.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to watch the interaction of the same person by two different actors, with Charles talking to himself as younger self, right?
Mm-hmm.
We get to see two different versions of so many characters.
Yeah.
One of them is played by the same person, like Hugh Jackman plays both Wolverines, right? Because he's an age or whatever.
Yeah.
And then as well as just, I think that as far as the X-Men movies we've gotten so far, Days of Future Past did a good job of showing us the struggles that mutants are not supposed to feel, because that's a terrible way to say that. But the struggle the mutants have in the comics.
Okay. Yeah.
And so simply from a Marvel perspective, I think it will be a classic.
Okay.
So I agree with that one. And then, sorry, Dawn of Planet of the Apes was one I saw in your movies over here. And I wanted to talk to you about that because I think of those movies a little with maybe not as much love as I would if I was. It's hard for me to think of these movies without thinking of all of them. And I love Dawn of Planet of the Apes. And I love Rise. Is that the next one? Or
Rise is the first one.
Sorry.
War for the Planet of the Apes is the third one.
That's the one I'm thinking
Which
of.
I actually haven't seen. I haven't seen War for the Planet of the Apes.
Okay. Yeah. That one don't love as much. It's a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think you would enjoy it.
Yeah. I've heard it's pretty good, but I have heard that
I don't know what it is.
most people seem to think Dawn is the best and Rise is the second best.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, I think.
Yeah. And so it's hard. I guess what I'm saying is it's hard for me to think about Dawn without thinking about War.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that there's an argument to be made for that one to be a classic.
Yeah.
And then, the other ones you listed that I didn't know. Caesar, weak. Koba, strong.
No. Caesar says Koba, weaker.
Bro.
Yeah.
That's like some He-Man writing right there.
Yeah.
As far as the ones you listed, I've only heard praise about them, but I haven't seen them, so I can't really speak on it.
Okay. You don't think you didn't mention Edge of Tomorrow or Winter Soldier, which I know you've seen both of those. Right?
I have, and I have very high opinions of both of those movies.
But you don't know if it quite has the lasting cultural impact, maybe, or
I know I said Iron Man when we were talking about this. I think it's difficult for me to choose a movie that's in the MCU to say it's a classic simply because there's a lot of those films that rely on prior knowledge, whether that's you've read some comics, you've seen the other movies. And I think that Winter Soldier, I think you can kind of get away. Like if you want to, I believe you could watch Winter Soldier on its own. And it's a fine film. Mm-hmm. But knowing context of Avengers and the first Captain America movie really makes that film, right? Mm-hmm. And so choosing anything for the MCU for those reasons makes it a little difficult for me. That doesn't automatically mean no. I just think I probably need to be talked into it.
Okay, let me ask you, do you have anything on your list from the MCU?
I don't think I wrote anything down from the MCU. Let me take a quick peek here. I don't think I did.
Because I'm telling you right now, Avengers will be considered a classic, for sure.
But that's past 10 years, so I didn't even think about that.
That's true. But and I also think that Endgame and maybe Infinity War will be considered classics as well.
You think so?
I think so, yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Bro,
they were like these big cultural events, and it's like people literally did not come back to the MCU after Endgame. Like audiences did not have, plenty of people have not watched a single Marvel movie after that because of the culmination of the story. Like, can you imagine any franchise or like studio achieving a feat like that ever again?
I guess. And I think, okay. I'm gonna take us down a little bit of like a more sorrowful note on it and what I'm about to say here.
Okay.
I think that the argument for Endgame to be a classic is absolutely there.
Mm-hmm.
But when I think of the effect that Endgame had on films or its cultural impact, I think of Endgame, I think, wow, we all love that, we enjoyed that. And then movie theaters died. That's the thing that follows Endgame in my mind, and that's so sad. And I know that's not Endgame's fault in any way, but that's what I've attached to it.
Okay. I think most people will think of that in a positive way, that they'll be like, oh, that was the last like epic moment that I remember in a movie theater. Like this was the pinnacle of the theater experience. And they will think it's downhill from there, but that'll put Endgame on a pedestal in the future, in my opinion.
And you're probably right for that. You're probably right. But you know how much I love going to the theater. And so the idea that people are thinking that, could be thinking that way, just bothers me. And I'm unjustly putting that blame on Endgame.
Sure.
Absolutely.
You know, we talked about 2019 being a banger year. And I think the reason we view it like that is because COVID came right after. And the amount of quality movies, it just seems, has not been able to get back up to the level. Like Hollywood was firing on all cylinders through the 2010s.
Yeah.
And just the effect of COVID as far as like production, writing, and mainly audience interest in going to the theaters is the big factor too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the rise of streaming was a major factor. The rise of streaming, which we didn't even address as a factor of like how TV shows have changed in the last segment.
Absolutely.
Anyways, did you want to say anything about Edge of Tomorrow before you jump into?
I think honestly, when I was going through my list, I just forgot about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's 2014, so it's.
Yeah. I mean, sorry. I meant when you were listening to this to me.
Oh,
I just didn't jot it down. With
you might have written it down with.
I just forgot to write it down.
Yeah.
I didn't start writing down until halfway through the list, so I was trying to catch up.
Gotcha.
Edge of Tomorrow. I think maybe there's some more long-lasting impact than I'm aware of.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I don't know that there are that many people in the world who consistently think of Edge of Tomorrow as much as you and I do.
Well, okay.
You know what I mean? And I don't know what impact it had on the movie world or the world as a whole.
Let me talk about this
I can't
one
speak
for a
on
second.
that.
Yeah. So I think that this movie was marketed terribly. I was 14 at the time, and I think it flew under the radar for a lot of people. I watched it. I think I actually pirated it when I was like in freshman year of high school or whatever. And I was like, wow, this is a banger. Like, and people literally thought the name of the movie was Live, Die, Repeat, not Edge of Tomorrow, because that's how they like
the logo on the poster.
And the poster, yeah.
Not logo.
But it's a really good movie, but I think not a ton of people saw it. People don't really talk about it, but maybe it's like one of those things that's like a cult classic in the future. You know, like a Mad Max, the original Mad Max, or like a, like I think Fight Club maybe is considered a classic now, but I think for a while it was like a cult classic.
Interesting. Right? Okay. I could see that.
But maybe that's not quite the same thing that we're talking about here with classics versus cult classics, you know?
I think that's a little bit too different for me to like give you that one, but agree, I guess.
Sure. And I will say that I was writing those down just as movies that I thought were good from that year. Not that I necessarily think all of them will be considered classics.
Got you. Well, I mean, I do agree with you on Interstellar, what I know of Whiplash and X-Men, 100%. And Dawn, I really want to say yes, but I'm kind of like on the line there.
Gotcha. Sorry, what were you saying though? I
was just gonna say, like, I mean, yeah, Edge of Tomorrow, I think is a fantastic movie. I remember the first time you showed it to me, I was so confused. I didn't understand. I was pretty young.
Yeah.
I think you were some high school, so I was in middle school, maybe. Mm-hmm. And then rewatching it, it's fantastic. And I didn't see it in theaters, so I didn't know about it like that. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a lot of people in my life who, if I brought it up, they'd be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, they wouldn't know about it. And so it's hard for me to say it's a classic like that.
Okay, fair. All right, do you want to kind of like get into some of the ones that you're thinking of, or I can give mine or we can like go back and forth, whatever you think would work best here.
I mean, if you want to go back and forth, if you want to name some, I honestly didn't check the years on a lot of these. I'll be so real with you. I was like, I think these are 10 years ago, and I wrote them down, so they might be like 11, 12.
I think I know the years of a lot of movies, so
Okay.
I might know some of them.
Okay. I mean,
give me your first one. Give me one.
The first one I wrote down was The Martian, and that's just because we talked about it the last time, so it was in my head.
I did not write that one down. That's interesting.
And I think that's That's up there with Interstellar. Let me tell you, as far as space movies go.
I think it's a great movie, but I don't think people talk about it anymore.
You don't think it's going to have
I don't
any
know.
lasting impact?
I mean, maybe. I think it might be one of those cult classics where it's like,
okay.
oh, like, you know, in 2050, these kids are going to be like, oh, did you see this movie that came back about here? Like, nobody talks about this movie, but it's so good, you know?
Okay, I can see that.
But maybe. I mean, I think it's really good.
That was the first one I wrote down because I think, like, I don't think about it enough, so maybe I shouldn't, like, maybe it's not quite a classic, even in my own mind. But it's, yeah, we were talking about it when we watched Project Hail Mary, and so it was on my mind.
Yeah, fair enough.
And so I just wanted your opinion on it, I guess. It was the first thing I wrote down when I was doing this.
Gotcha.
So that's your 2 cents on that. And then another one I wrote down that I don't know what year it came out, actually, is Big Hero 6, which
interesting.
I don't know. I guess I can't really think of the impact it had, but it just feels so unique to me as far as stories go that I saw it. I was like, I'll write that one down and we'll talk about it at least.
I want to say that's around 10 years ago, 2014, 2015 maybe.
Yeah, in my head it's 2015, but I don't know how accurate that is.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
I want your 2 cents on that one. I guess.
almost feel similarly about that to The Martian.
Okay.
Where I feel like there's other animated movies that will stand out more when looking back. Like, I don't think about Big Hero 6 too much. I do like it a lot.
Yeah.
But like some Pixar movies like Inside Out or Coco.
I did write Coco down.
Yeah, like I think
Coco.
those ones might stand out a little more.
I didn't even think about lots of the other Pixar ones, and that's on me.
But a lot of the Pixar movies over the past 10 years haven't been like received fantastically. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's that one's interesting. I don't know. I don't know. That's a good one to throw out there. I think I would lean towards disagree.
Okay.
But I'm not saying those two definitely won't be.
Okay.
But
for sure.
Yeah.
I think there's some I wrote down that I haven't seen, but I know you've seen, and I know you have strong feelings about them. I think, or I think you have strong feelings about them.
Okay.
But I might save some of those for later. But we were just talking about animation, so I want to bring up Kubo and the Two Strings, which I don't know if you ever saw.
I did see Kubo.
And I wanted to talk about it because I wanted to talk about the cult classic kind of thing. I don't think that it has the weight and success that's
popularity,
that's necessary for it to be a classic.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there is a decent group of people who praise that film, and I think it will fall into a cult classic one day.
I remember thinking it was great. I remember people saying it was great, but I do not remember the plot of it very well.
I think my only complaint about the plot is that the big reveal at the end is kind of predictable. Okay. Which, spoiler warning, I guess. The two people that he's traveling with.
Mm-hmm. They're his parents? Yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah.
And halfway through the movie, I think most people watching it knew that. Okay. And so that's that's the only drawback from it. But the story is so fantastic. I think the animation is, in my brain, it's unique, but I don't even know what it is. I don't know how they did it.
Yeah. No, I think it looks like maybe stop motion. I don't know if it was.
Yeah. But I just want to talk about it because I think it follows the cult classic, and I really expect us to be talking about that. So I just wanted to bring it up.
I think it might be a cult classic. But let me address something really quickly as we're talking about these potentially cult classic movies. So The Martian obviously was very popular when it came out. So is Big Hero 6. But if we're looking at Edge of Tomorrow and Kubo, those were maybe a little bit more under the radar. A little more niche, but people really liked them. But I just want to say that Shawshank Redemption, I think, did terribly at the box office. Okay. People did not know about that movie whatsoever until the internet came about. And then people started watching it. And I think that its reputation really escalated as time went on. So it is possible for movies to become classics without initial success, whether it's critical or, box office wise. So
for Shawshank, you said with the internet, it got a little more traction maybe. Mm-hmm. Do you know if there was anything that was happening when people started talking about it more in the world or with movies or with maybe the actors or something that made it come back into circulation a little bit?
I mean, maybe. I don't really know. I've just kind of heard that it happened this way. Mm-hmm. When I first started getting into movies, it was already the early 2010s and the internet had been around for the internet in like a form where you could kind of like share stuff on that level had been around.
Similar
for
to the
a
sense that we
decade
have
or
it
so.
today. Similar enough?
Yeah, similar enough, but like IMDb was already a thing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the IMDb top 250 was already a thing, and Shawshank was already at the top when I started getting into movies. So I think it was sometime in the 2000s where this occurred, but
Okay.
so I'm not sure. To be honest.
But that's an interesting thing to think about for sure. I think a lot of what I have written down are things that were already successful.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
that's fine. I'm just studying. I was just saying that like maybe something like Kubo or Edge of Tomorrow has a chance
Yeah.
if there's something like the internet in the future that gets people excited about it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think
AI. I don't know.
Oh God. I think there's one more I want to run by you before I hear some of the ones on your list.
Sure.
I'll give you a whole bunch of these, but there's one
Okay.
more I really want to run by you, which is La La Land. And I don't know the year that came out, but I have a bias towards it. I really enjoyed it. I don't know if I think that one's gonna be a classic.
I didn't write down La La Land, but I didn't think about it. But I would have. I would agree with that one. I think that.
Yes, I got one.
Well, number one, it's just very. It just hits on all the emotions.
Mm-hmm.
It's a musical. That's points towards it as far as classics go. I think that songs are beneficial because they like stick in people's head and people remember it.
Right.
I think that it's very, very. It's one of those movies where you just have a hard time finding an issue with it. Maybe some people might say it's a little pretentious as far as like Hollywood and LA romanticizing that type of a life. I didn't find it to be that way. I thought it was very well done.
Well, maybe I might misunderstood it in my viewings of it, but I guess you could take it as they're being a little pretentious, but they acknowledge in my eyes, they acknowledge some of the downsides of it. I think they don't necessarily poke fun at themselves, but the characters are aware. Like they sing a song about it on the highway. That's the first thing we see.
They
right?
do. But I think that that some people take that as like, this is a film about LA, Hollywood, by people from LA saying, look how much we sacrifice to make these amazing things.
Interesting. Okay.
We sacrifice being with our soulmates so that we can create art. Like I think some people take it that way.
Okay.
I don't take it that way, but
I never just thought about it like that, I guess. Yeah. Okay. That's fair. I feel like that one we don't like. La La Land isn't one I think we really need to talk about.
I loved La La Land when I was a junior in high school when it came out. And I was not super happy. Maybe it was a senior. No, I think it was a junior. I was not super happy when they announced La La Land as the Oscar winner and then they gave it to Moonlight. Because I still haven't seen Moonlight, but
yeah.
No, I think La La Land, it's accessible to the average audience.
Broader audience, yeah.
Yeah, to the average American audience, and it's also an Oscar movie that is appealing to people who maybe would turn their nose up at a Marvel movie or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that it's like, I don't know, it's a great movie. That's all I have to say.
Yeah,
I think that a lot of people think that, and then they'll talk about it for years to come, probably. So
that's fair. Yeah, I'm interested to see some of the ones you wrote down, see if they line up with anything I got written down here.
Okay. So I don't know if I really believe this one, but I did write down Top Gun Maverick. I don't love it as much as a lot of people do, but it's not because I think there's anything wrong with it. I just think that like Tom Cruise isn't my favorite. I wasn't the biggest fan of the original Top Gun. But I think as far as like taking what they did in the original Top Gun and like going and like stepping up, taking that into the 21st century with that same character, I think they did a really good job. And I also just think like if you look at the 2020s, it's one of the most successful movies like in terms of like box office and like popularity of the 2020s so far.
Yeah.
So it seems like it might have some staying impact. Maybe a little early, but I think that a lot of people really liked it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that calling it early is necessarily bad. Like, that's kind of what we're doing here, right?
Right,
That's whole shtick.
Yeah.
I will say, I don't think I wrote a single sequel on my list.
Oh, okay.
And I think the reason I did that is because if I'm going to put something down as a classic, I'll just put the first one if it has sequels, as well as the fact that there are a lot of movies out there that the sequels maybe weren't as hot.
Okay.
And so even if this sequel is good, which Top Gun Maverick is very good, I don't think it's quite as good as Top Gun. And I know that people say Top Gun is a classic, but it's not quite that for me. I'm not that big of a Top Gun
I'm not
enjoyer.
a big Top Gun fan. I personally like Maverick more than the original.
Interesting.
Top Gun.
Okay.
But it's not a huge difference. Like I like them both, but I don't think either of them are fantastic. I guess so.
I mean, yeah, I guess I don't. Yeah, so I don't have any sequels, and that's not like saying that you can't put sequels in the classic category.
No, but I understand
Absolutely
what you're
can.
saying.
I'm kind of leaning disagree simply for the way I rank it versus Top Gun. But I could see it. I can see it.
As far as the sequels thing goes, that's an interesting thing to bring up. Like let's talk about some of the best sequels of all time.
Okay. Spider-Man 3.
Okay. Star Wars
Uh-huh.
is obviously a classic. Empire Strikes Back is one of the best sequels of all time. Also a classic. But I think all three of those Star Wars movies should be considered
Return of the
classics.
Jedi is a fantastic film, yeah.
Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Okay.
So here's the thing. I think that Terminator 2 is obviously better than Terminator. I've only seen Terminator once, to be fair.
Okay.
The
No
original,
way.
the
You've
original,
seen it
the
more than
original
once.
Terminator?
Yeah, you've seen it more than
No,
once.
I've only seen it all the way through more than
that's
once.
not true.
Okay. Both of those are obviously classics, but do you think that Terminator, the original Terminator, would be considered a classic if Terminator 2 didn't come out? Because I feel like part of the reason that Terminator, the first Terminator, you would consider that a classic is because it's like it introduced the Terminators and brought Arnold in as that iconic character. But maybe it would be like that. It would be like that without Terminator 2, but Terminator 2 was like this more of an action movie than a horror movie. I mean, I don't know. You can just...
I guess I'm going to retort with the inverse question. Do you think Terminator 2, let's say you can write that without the existence of the first Terminator.
I don't think you can, though. Like, the whole concept is that now he's the good guy. Now he's protecting him.
I guess, but like you cut that one scene where she freaks out when she's in the first time, and now it's the Terminator that's come back to protect them.
But you lose out on a bunch of context.
There's a lot of also interaction with the character. You're right. You're right.
But I will say I watched Terminator 2 Judgment Day before I watched Terminator many times, and it was just the context. And I think it does give you a lot of context, to be honest. Actually,
Yeah.
It gives you she gives you the summary of
she gives
Judgment
you
Day, and you see
narration.
some of the Terminator battle happening. You see John Connor when he's older.
Do you?
At the very beginning of the film,
yeah. Okay.
So maybe it would be. I don't know.
I think I haven't seen Terminator in a long, long time. I've seen Terminator 2 way more recently.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Maybe it's because I've seen it way less. I don't even know if I'd put Terminator as a classic.
Gotcha.
So I based on that, I don't think Terminator is a classic without Terminator 2. I guess is my statement.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying sequels can maybe stand their own in some cases.
They can. And maybe in the past 10 years there's haven't many sequels worth putting on here. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Mad Max Fury Road.
I have no complaints.
Do you want to talk about that? Or
I have no complaints. I think that's a classic.
Okay.
I think that's fine. I think it will be a classic.
Yeah. Dune.
I thought about Dune myself.
1 and 2.
Oh, definitely not 2 because no sequels. No. I really did think about it, and I think maybe it's that little bias from my head where I just didn't put any sequels down. I think. I think they could be.
Okay.
I think I'm right up the middle for that one. I don't really know. I think the hesitancy for me is that we have a third part to come out. right?
Mm-hmm.
And the how good the first two parts are isn't dependent on how good this third one is,
Mm-hmm.
but it will like swift my opinion of the whole trilogy, right?
Okay.
Which will ultimately have me bring down those other two a little bit. Like I was
Maybe,
saying
yeah.
with what was I talking about that I said that Planet of the Apes. Like it's hard for me to think about Dawn of the Planet of the Apes without thinking of War.
Okay,
right?
let me bring up a couple other two then.
Okay. I mean, if you wanna try and convince me of Dune, you totally can. Like I think a conversation we had there. I think
it was
I could be
such a like an
talking to.
impactful thing, and it's just so good. And Dune Part 3 is a totally like it's way down
it's
the
like
line,
it's a big time.
way down
jump,
the
right?
line. Yeah. So Paul's like an adult. I mean, I guess he's an adult.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know what you mean.
Okay, so kind of going off of what you were saying about Dune and Dune 3 affecting how you would perceive those two. I put down Wicked and Joker because I'm not too sure about either of those. I liked both of those movies. I didn't love either of them, but I know that they're Wicked last year and then Joker in 2019 were both massively popular, made a big splash in the cultural zeitgeist or whatever.
Yeah.
Zeitgeist?
Zeitgeist is what I
Yeah,
say. I don't know.
Zeitgeist. Okay. But Wicked for Good just came out, and the general consensus is that it's a lot worse. No, not a lot worse, but it is
It's
worse.
not as good as the
not
first
as
one.
iconic.
Yeah.
You know. And then Joker 2, people hated Joker 2.
not like it, yeah.
So, do you think that like the sequels to those movies will bring like their status down? Do you think that without their sequels they would be considered classics? And then do you think even with, because maybe the answer is like you don't even think they would be considered classics in the future to begin with. But.
So I haven't seen Wicked. I do think that it's a bit, not that it's impossible for it to be considered a classic. I think it's a bit odd to consider it a classic given it's already like world renowned. It's a very well acclaimed play, right? Mm-hmm. So I think it's a little weird for me to call it a classic simply because it exists in another format already with so much praise.
Sure.
Doesn't mean it can't be. I haven't seen it. I don't know. Joker, I probably wouldn't call it a classic regardless of the second one is there or not.
Okay.
And
you've seen Joker?
I've seen Joker. I haven't seen the second Joker.
Okay. Me neither.
So I can't really say on how that affects my opinion. Mm-hmm. I think this might be a little different, but I want to ask, because you've seen the more recent Gladiator.
Yes.
Do you think that affects your opinion of the first Gladiator?
Well, don't even get me started, because you haven't seen it.
No, not yet.
Do you want spoilers or no?
Frick. Probably not.
Okay, well, do you know anything about the identity of the main character? Within the world.
Yes. He's the little boy, right? I can't think of his name.
Okay, but do you know anything else about him?
No.
Okay. My point of view is that they almost commit character assassination of Maximus in that movie.
Oh, what?
Like in the same way that Luke's character was assassinated in the sequels.
Yeah. Interesting.
Maybe not quite that level, but the sequels don't make me view the original Star Wars trilogies as any less. I just kind of like disassociate them.
That's fair.
Same thing with Gladiator 2. I thought it was fine. It was fun, but I just don't really view it as like on the same plane as Gladiator, you know?
Okay,
so.
that's fair. Bad sequel doesn't necessarily mean you have to bring down the original or maybe even second movie or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just it's something that is in my mind when I think about movies, I guess.
Yeah. What do you? So Wicked and Joker, you're like you don't know. It's like
Joker, probably not. Wicked, I don't know.
Gotcha.
Feels a little weird to me
to
say it's a classic. It could be a classic, but maybe.
Let me throw 3 animated movies your way, and then you can jump back into
Hit me
some
with
of
them.
yours.
Yeah, hit me with them.
We've got Into the Spider-Verse.
Yes, we're gonna talk about it.
Okay.
I mean, we can't. I will have to talk about that. I just don't think we need to.
Well, no, yeah. The Wild Robot.
I put that one down too, and
Okay.
I do want
Okay.
to talk about that one.
Okay, sure.
I do want to talk about that.
And then K-pop Demon Hunters.
I didn't even think about that.
What do you think? You think that? I mean, I know.
Ow.
Like, if we're talking cultural impact, do you know how many roomies I saw at Halloween this year?
I guess, but how many movies are you going to see at Halloween in 20 years from now?
Well, okay. How many people from Casablanca do you see?
Okay, but how many Rockies do you see?
Like one?
Okay.
I don't know. I think let's stick with the animated movie analogy. You see a lot of Snow Whites still at Halloween. I think that's what you're kind of trying to say, right?
Yeah. Snow White feels so different from K-pop Demon Hunters, but yeah, absolutely. Okay, K-pop Demon Hunters. Here's the thing. I know that it took the world by storm.
Yeah.
I know that so many people had Golden in one of their top 5 songs on Spotify Wrapped. I know that.
Yeah.
But does it have any impact on the filmmaking world is my question? And is there lasting impact on just society? What's the lasting societal impacts?
Well, okay.
Because I hear you, yeah.
Do you think Frozen will be considered a classic?
Oh, that's a good one.
Because I feel like that's the most similar in terms of like how the songs took over. Young girls are looking up to the main characters and stuff. I think
probably Frozen will be.
Yeah.
I think Frozen will be.
Here's the thing. They're definitely going to be making sequels.
Yeah.
So I think it will have a legacy for sure. Like we won't stop talking about K-pop Demon Hunters.
Yeah, not anytime soon. I think, like in my agree to disagree scale,
yeah,
we're probably like leaning slightly agree.
Okay.
But I'm like,
slightly agree.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's kind of tough.
Gotcha.
Wild Robot is what I want to talk about because I think I want that movie to be considered a classic. I want the general consensus to be that it has the impact. It was that popular, and I know it was that popular. I know people loved it. I know we talked about that a lot. You and I talked about it a lot. I think I saw that one twice or 3 times in theaters. I really enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. I think it's how many times have they done a found family in film or TV? It happens, right?
Yeah.
Right. This one just feels so different, and I don't know
specific.
why. Yeah. And I think it.
Well, I think it's because it's from like a parent perspective, right?
Yeah, so you're seeing like basically kids come together, right?
Or it doesn't even have to be like any type of familial bond. It could be like if Guardians of the Galaxy is a found family movie.
That's true. That's true. I think I don't know, just what's the right words I'm trying to find here, I guess.
Well, like it like does such a good job of like bringing everything together to like hit those emotions, and it's like a multi-generational type of thing.
Yeah. Like I went and saw it with our mom because I knew she would want to see it, and she loved it. Which is like, it's not rare that her and I both like the same movie, but I think her and I like this movie for the same reasons, which is rare.
Yeah.
I think it appeals to a very broad audience. I think that and we were talking about Pedro Pascal, but I think the casting was fantastic. He slides into that. I also think that it's like found family's been done, but I think the specific dynamic they choose, because it's like the fox and the robot, and I can't remember any of their names right now, and that makes me feel terrible considering I'm saying it's a classic.
Her name is
Roz,
and his name is
I want to say
Fox,
Finn,
no.
but I don't know if that's
it's
right.
like, no, it's something simple like that. It's like,
anyway,
okay.
like they obviously play like the father mother to Bright Bill, right? But I don't think that there's necessarily it's not romantic, right?
No,
they're
friends. They're like, well, they
have such a deep loving bond, but it's not anything extra like that.
I think it's also like
that's so cool. It's so unique,
and it's also like the fact that she starts off the film. I don't know if innocent is the right word, but like naive about
to
the
their world.
Yeah, and like the cruelty that exists in that animal world.
Yeah, they also handle that in such an interesting way. Yeah, especially at the end of the film. Yeah, like my only issue with the film.
Yeah, well, I do have one issue with it. Yeah, but I don't know if you want to.
I'm down to talk.
Well, I just think that like the idea that like they don't like kill each other anymore.
Yeah, that's what I mean by the end of the film. Yeah, like that seems kind of weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you can look past that with just being like, oh, it's a kid's film and we acknowledged it and now we're all together, right?
But I did like how they kind of went hard with it initially.
Yeah.
And they're like, animals are dying live.
Yeah, that's crazy. No, I do want that one to be a classic, and I don't know if it will have the lasting impact.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, but I would love to say yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, let's hear a few more of yours. I don't know how many you have, but
Well, I got quite a few more in here, but I want to jump into a couple animated films that you didn't mention
okay.
that I think are at least interesting talking point. If maybe you don't agree with me.
Sure.
And I'll list them off, and whatever ones you want to talk about, we can talk about. Okay.
Yeah.
First one is the Lego Batman movie.
Okay.
The second one is a film that I don't know if you've seen. It's an anime. It's an anime called Your Name. It is an adaptation of a manga.
Okay. Putting that on the shelf for a second.
Okay. And then which there's another one that I want to throw in there. A Silent Voice. I said 3, but I'm gonna say 4. I would put A Silent Voice in there too. Okay. Your Name I think is more popular, but I think A Silent Voice is higher for me. Okay. And the fourth, I guess now, is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
Okay.
And I just want to hear your thoughts on that.
Okay, first of all, the Lego Batman movie, I love the Lego Batman movie. But I just don't know if it has the reach. Like the Lego movie, I think is maybe a better candidate for a classic. I personally like the Lego Batman movie more.
I agree with you.
But the Lego movie, I think, was like more of like a, oh, wow, they made this whole movie out of Legos. And it's got like heart and grit and like,
yeah,
it's
got Chris Pratt.
Yeah. Classic material right there. No, but I think that it was maybe more of an accomplishment. And also like it's the story, like both of the stories have heart, but I think that it's a little bit more universally relatable. Excuse me. It's a little bit more universally relatable. Uh-huh. Whereas the Lego Batman movie, I think maybe not as many people want to go see it because Batman, you have Lego and Batman. So you have two different things coming together. It makes it a little more niche.
That's fair.
And then I think it's also like you have all these different characters and you get a lot more value out of it if you're like a fan of comics or like a fan of these other products that Warner Brothers has that they like kind of incorporate into there.
Yeah,
and
interesting.
I think it's funnier than the Lego movie is. But I just think that the Lego movie maybe has like more impact. Like people maybe still talk about it a little bit more than they do the Lego Batman movie.
I don't know. I think as time goes on, we will talk about the Lego movie more than we will the Lego Batman movie. I think I agree with you. I think I enjoy the Lego Batman movie more.
Yeah.
You're probably right. It doesn't stand up. It won't stand up to time the same way the Lego movie will, I don't think.
I don't know. I mean, people who like it will always like it, I think.
That's true.
But I just don't know if it's like...
It's about Batman finding his F word, right?
Yes.
Cool.
And then... What else did you say? Okay, so let's talk about the anime ones for a second.
Yeah, Your Name and A Silent Voice.
Yeah, so I actually have a section that I wrote down called anime ?
Oh, okay.
I don't know if we're like I don't know, are there anime films that are considered classics? Totoro?
I think a lot of Ghibli films fall in the category. Howl's Moving Castle, Totoro, I would say
Spirited Away,
and Kiki's Delivery Service are probably the ones I put up there. I personally am throwing Castle in the Sky up there. I'm throwing Princess Mononoke up there.
Okay.
But I just love Ghibli.
Okay.
I'm just a big fan.
So the ones I wrote down for anime were Your Name,
okay,
A Silent Voice.
Heck yeah.
I haven't seen either of those, but I know that they're well regarded, so that's why I wrote them down.
Okay.
I also wrote down Demon Slayer.
Are you just talking about the film? The most recent film?
Well, okay, here's the thing. I just wrote down Demon Slayer because when I was looking on the IMDb top 250, both Infinity Castle and Mugen Train are in the top 250 on IMDb. And I think it's just because the fans of the anime are just like slamming that 10-star or whatever.
Yeah.
But I personally really like Demon Slayer. I don't think that Mugen Train should be in the top 250 on IMDb. I think that Mugen Train is elevated by the Rengoku Akaza stuff.
I can't say it either.
Akaza stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that like some of the stuff where they're falling asleep and the train demon is maybe a little bit like less exciting. I don't know if that makes sense. It's like
that's fair.
I
Are you putting Infinity Castle Part 1 or whatever above?
I think I'd like it better than Mugen Train. I haven't seen Mugen Train in a long time, but
Yeah, I think I will let you keep talking. I just want to say I think Rengoku as a whole is a big reason for that movie being rated as high as it is.
He probably is. He definitely is.
Like,
but I think that like I like both of those movies a lot, but I don't think that they're like. I don't think that they have enough of a message or like something to say, I guess, to be considered a classic, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's pretentious of me to say, but I feel like, like a lot of these other movies are like, they move you on an emotional level. And I feel like these are just cool. I mean, Rengoku, like there are, okay, so I'm not, okay, let me backtrack a bit here. There are very emotional moments in both of those movies.
okay.
Akaza's backstory, Rengoku's whole arc. But I just think that the overall themes are not quite as like, I don't know, as established as some, or like quite as, I don't know if profound's the right word, but like.
Or what you're trying to get at is that like, for those films, there are emotional moments, but they're not as much of like a point of the movie as in the way that like Rumi being accepted for being part demon is. Like, that's her arc.
Okay, I guess that we didn't preface it. That has to be part of what makes a classic though. You know, like there's lots of just like, you know, action movies maybe that don't have that much thematic resonance or whatever, or a lesson to learn, so to speak. You know, I don't know. Like Mad Max. Is that saying anything, or is that just like an accomplishment in filmmaking?
I mean, I think
very entertaining. You know,
I think the reason that Mad Max is a classic is because of its accomplishment in the filmmaking world, and I think we can look at it and see it as a critique of what we're doing now and how it could affect us in the future, right? If you want to take
like
that
read into it, or
right,
yeah. But the character work is pretty compelling, I would say, for the small amount of dialogue that there is. I mean, Demon Slayer has some pretty compelling character work. I think I just have a few issues with a couple of the things in those movies. So I don't view them as good movies as some other movies that we have been talking about. But I still think like that they are maybe a landmark for animation, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm being too hard on Demon Slayer right now. I don't know. What do you think about Demon Slayer?
Okay, well, let me start with this. I think my wow. It's a harsh start. I think my feelings about putting any of the Demon Slayer movies into this category are just going to, I'm basically just going to give you stronger feelings on how I feel about like sequels affecting previous things. Because it's a show. It's a show that has movies.
It is a TV show.
Yeah, it's a TV show that's an adaptation of pre-existing books that has movies.
And I think it works better as a show.
I do think so.
Yeah.
And so as far as like the animation goes, I think we got that from the show. I don't think they need to be movies for us to get that step up.
That being said,
and I just think I think there's a part of me that really wants what they made movies to be the show. Like they released Mugen Train as episodes, and I was cool with that. That was just as good, if not better.
I think that's how I watched it, because I think that you guys watched Mugen Train. I watched the end of Mugen Train with you, and I was like, oh, let me start Demon Slayer.
that's right.
And I just watched it as episodes.
Yeah.
But no, I was going to say, that being said, I think that there is value in releasing it as a movie in the theater, because like it was a cool theater experience to see it in the theater.
Absolutely.
But I think that it does lend itself at a pacing level better to a television.
Yeah. But and I guess I do think that, but I question if that's because we've become accustomed to it being a television show, right? Episodes.
Maybe. I don't know that I would consider it a classic, but I just wanted to get your input on there.
I don't think that it will be a classic. And I think part of that is because when people think about Demon Slayer, it'll be very hard to narrow down the movies. We'll think of the story as a whole. And when looking at Demon Slayer's story as a whole, I think there are other anime, when we're not looking at other animated films, anime that will just crown it in so many other categories as far as like story, emotion, all that stuff. I think it's hard to look at Demon Slayer just as movies. You know what I mean? And so I don't think I'm putting either of those in classics, ultimately, is my point.
Okay, but your name in silent voice, you would?
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen those. So.
I think a lot of people put Your Name as like the pinnacle of anime films, and I have no problem with that. It's a beautiful story with beautiful visuals with beautiful characters, and it hits almost every beat. And a silent voice, I think, does the same thing with a story that I have more personal feelings for, I guess. The only complaint I have for a silent voice versus Your Name, and maybe it is that there's a handful of things that kind of get dropped in the movie from the books, and maybe that happens in Your Name. I don't know, but there's like a
Because you've read Silent Voice?
I've read Silent Voice. I haven't read Your Name. And specifically, there's a character that I think it's not important that we get all the backstory on him, but he fills his role and he does a good job and his choices make sense. But if we get the information we get from the book, it really completes a couple interactions that happen in the film for me.
Okay.
So I'm putting those as classics. Absolutely.
Okay. Gotcha. And then Puss in Boots is actually the next one I had. Last Wish.
Nice.
So
okay.
I really hope it will be remembered and like talked about, but I just don't know. Like if you're looking at the Shrek universe, like I think Shrek just has a lot more of a cultural impact than it does. I hope that it will last.
Yeah.
But I just don't know if enough people saw or talked about it. It was kind of like a gem that was like in the...
I thought everyone was talking about Puss in Boots.
Well, you work at a comic book store.
I work at a nerd store. You're right. My bad.
I don't know.
No, you're absolutely right.
I think people were talking about it online too, but like the people who cared talked about it, but I don't know if general audiences.
I guess, but I think even if we just talk about it as far as like the animation, I think
it does look great.
Is it like Spider-Verse level of next generation stuff? I don't think so. But I do think it does a lot of stuff uniquely.
Yeah.
And I think that it deserves credit for that, if only that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'd like it I hope it will be considered a classic.
I would love it to be, but I guess we'll see on that one. That one, yeah, kind of up in the air.
Yeah.
There's a couple on here that I think that you and I would just be like, oh yeah, for sure on. But maybe I'm wrong. There's those ones I think are Parasite.
Okay, you got that one. Yep. Definitely. No debate.
Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I didn't think of that one.
Okay.
But it probably will be. Yeah.
I think that one, like I can't think of a reason why it wouldn't be, I guess.
I mean, it's a little weird for sure.
Yeah.
But I think that people...
But I think it was a weird that a lot of people got behind.
It was, yeah. I mean, it was something that was different and unique. And I think that helps to define a classic sometimes.
Yeah,
so. Definitely.
And there's one more here that I think that like you and I will be in like 100% agreement on, or I'm hoping. And that's 1917. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I had that one on there too.
And it's not necessarily that I think that one's like, oh, undoubtedly a classic, but I think that the way in which that story is told,
the one shot,
is such that I think that is the feature that pushes it beyond
the filmmaking craft, or like the way that they the care that was put into making that one. It really makes it stand out. I think so I kind of figured we'd be on the same page about those ones. And then there's a couple on here that I kind of just want to run by you, because I haven't seen these ones, but I'm fairly confident you have. Sing Street came to mind. Oh, Sing Street.
And I know the music from it, and that's really it. I don't know the plot. I don't think
so. I don't think people like talk about it enough. I did like it.
Okay.
It was kind of different. I haven't seen it in a long time though. I just think that it's just a little too niche, I think.
I will say I haven't heard anyone talk about it outside of you.
Yeah.
So like maybe that should have been my red herring, but I just wanted to bring it up.
Yeah.
I guess. And then Dunkirk is one I haven't seen that I think that a lot of people have high regards of. And so I just want to hear your opinion on whether that you think it could be.
Maybe. I think some people have issues with the way that it's like edited and paced. I like it a lot. I think it's possible, definitely possible. I mean, I think the Oppenheimer definitely from Nolan will be a classic.
Okay, for sure. Kind of touch on something similar to that. I don't know, similar,
but I don't know. I think Dunkirk has a good shot. While we're on war movies with 1917 and Dunkirk, I think Hacksaw Ridge has a good shot too.
I didn't want to put that on there because I was ready for you to just point at me and be like, you just like Andrew Garfield.
No, I think it has a good shot. I think it has a decent shot. A lot of people look back on it very fondly from what I can tell.
I think, I mean, I haven't seen Dunkirk. I haven't seen a lot of war movies, honestly. Even like Saving Private Ryan, I haven't seen that one all the way through yet. I've started watching like the midway point, which was really weird.
Yeah.
That was a great. I think as far as ones I've seen, I think 1917 will be a classic. And then I think the next close one is Hacksaw Ridge for me. Okay. I think it has a push there. I didn't write it down because I just didn't.
I think 1917 has the best shot out of all three of those ones we discussed at being considered a classic.
I agree.
I would say that Dunkirk probably has the second best shot just because it's a Christopher Nolan film.
You think Christopher Nolan has a pretty good track record as far as things that might become classics?
I think so, and I think that he's considered one of the best directors at this point in time.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I was just asking.
And I think that he just by obviously Tenet was a little bit more like mixed reactions for Tenet, but I think that if his movie is good, it gets a little bit of like a bump in like perception just because he directed it. You know,
that's fair. Yeah. That's definitely true. And then I have two more here that I just want to remind you that I haven't seen. Yeah. One of them is Shape of Water. Because I think my understanding of that one is not necessarily that the story is anything like you could put a different coat on it and it would be a similar story you've seen before, but maybe as far as the effects,
I do think it was impactful
effects
at the time. Yeah.
Okay.
I just don't know if people still talk about it.
Okay.
But maybe it's one of those ones that I could see like that you're studying in film school. Like the kids are like, people are coming back to as like, oh, this was like a very like a movie that was a little out there that was appreciated by like the Academy and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's a little uncommon.
Okay. So you think maybe not classic, but still discussed?
But maybe like reaches a classic status at some point. I don't know if it's a lock, but...
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. And then so the last one I have to just run by you. I have more in here, but the last one I have to run by you is Ford versus Ferrari.
I had that written down. Definitely. There's no way... Okay. Maybe this is my bias talking.
I do know you like this movie a lot. And that's part of the reason I brought it up.
But like, it's like... I haven't talked to a single person that has seen it and not liked it. Like, it's so fun, but also like uplifting, inspiring. It's like a true tale of like accomplishment, you know, and like the actual technical aspects are so good too. Like, I feel like it would be.
Sorry. Bad.
It would be a movie. It would be a movie that I would have my students study if I were a film school professor, you know?
That makes sense. So you think,
I think so,
undoubtedly.
Yeah. I mean, maybe with some doubt, but not too much doubt.
Okay, for sure. I mean, I got a couple on here we can go through, but I'm down to hear some more of yours if you want.
Sure.
I don't have that many left.
I'll throw out one that I think you didn't think of.
Okay, hit with it.
Godzilla -1.
And I did think of it.
You did?
And I didn't write it down, mostly because I haven't seen a lot of Godzilla movies prior to that. And so I can't speak on what it does differently from those ones.
Okay.
To me, yes. But to people who have seen other Godzilla movies, I don't know that it's that different.
I mean, it is different. It is different. It's like not just about like monster comes in, kills, survive monster. It's
the woman's story, really.
Yeah.
It's not.
Well, and the guy who is who has the survivor's guilt.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think it does a good job of continuing the original Godzilla's themes of like nuclear. Sorry. Nuclear.
I got it.
The effects of like nuclear bomb testing and like war on society as a whole. That's kind of what, or not, I guess nuclear bomb usage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just the like development of the technology.
Yeah.
necessarily. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that it reached a large American audience, even though it was a Japanese film, which
Right.
A lot of Godzilla movies maybe don't reach American audiences in that same way. Will it stand the test of time? I don't know, but I thought
Okay.
maybe. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I just didn't write it down because I can't compare it to the other
yeah,
Godzilla movies. That's all.
yeah. I have Klaus on there.
Oh, I didn't think of Klaus. Goated movie.
Yeah,
Klaus is so good.
a Christmas classic.
I think
Maybe we should watch it tomorrow. No.
I think I am willing, not even willing. I think I'll happily concede Christmas classic. Like
Okay.
I think in time, a lot of people will look back on it. Maybe not quite the same fondness as like Home Alone, but I think it's close to that status. Will we think about it year round? Maybe not.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
But I think that's a solid pick.
Valid for a Christmas movie.
Yeah, very solid pick.
I can just run through the rest of mine real quick, and then
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I got one that's kind of like you. I want to talk about Barbenheimer, basically.
Okay.
Because you touch on Oppenheimer, and so I want to know whether you solidly think,
Oppenheimer definitely.
okay, Barbie, and I know that that's not necessarily a movie for either of us. I do think that
I think Barbie will be considered a classic. I didn't
Okay.
think about it, but I think it will be. I think it has a couple issues. But I think that just because of like the social aspects of it, and the way that it was also culturally tied to Oppenheimer, I think that just because of those two things, even though I had a couple issues with like the way that they told the story, like my personal opinion about the movie doesn't matter. A lot of these movies that I love are gonna be
they're not gonna be classics.
not considered classics. And I don't really like 2001: A Space Odyssey that much, but that's a classic.
yeah. Absolutely.
And I do like Barbie. I just think that it's not on the same level as a lot of these movies, but I think that it will probably reach classic status. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I think, I think those movies, just whether you want to talk about them as Barbenheimer, whether you want to talk about as competitors or aiding each other or whatever,
yeah.
I think the fact that those movies came out together helps both of them.
Yeah.
I think both of those will end up as classics for very different reasons.
Yeah.
But I think they both make it. I just want to touch on it right now before we move on because you briefly mentioned Oppenheimer before. I know they're so different from one another, but I think it's hard. I mean, you can talk about one without the other, but whenever I think of one of those movies, the other one at least slides into my mind for a moment.
Gotcha. I don't think of them like that, but that's probably because like I've thought about them both a lot. So
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to run through the rest of your list, we can.
How many more do you have?
Oh shoot! There's one more that I want to run by you that I haven't seen.
Okay.
Uncut Gems.
Oh, I love Uncut Gems.
Huh.
I think that's going to be a cult classic. I think that's
cult classic?
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be widely thought of as a classic,
Okay.
but I think it's going to be more like has like a nice fan base throughout time. Like,
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I haven't seen it, so I can't speak on it. What I know is a lot of people think that is Adam Sandler's best acting performance.
We
to
should go
date.
see Marty Supreme. It's the one where Timmy is a ping pong player.
I do know Marty Supreme. You said Timmy and I went click.
Yeah.
We should go
Because
see
those
that.
the two brothers directed that Uncut Gems,
Oh.
and then one of them just directed The Smashing Machine with Dwayne Johnson, and the other one directed Marty Supreme. So they split up for this year.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. Okay. Yeah, I'm down to see that. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 more on here that maybe I don't truly believe in all of them, but I think I want to talk about them at least.
I also have 4.
Want to go one for one?
Sure.
Okay, you go ahead.
Logan.
Well, that's one of mine. So
Okay, lock. That's a lock.
I think that's for
There's
sure.
no way that's not considered a classic, I think.
I told myself that I had to pick at least one superhero film, and Logan was the easiest pick by far for me. As like, this will be a classic. And
Do
I
you
don't
think Logan's
this
your
is
favorite superhero movie?
No.
Okay, but you just think it's like going to stand the test of time.
I think that my favorite superhero movies might not be the best superhero movies,
Okay.
and that's all I'll say on
Do you
that
think
for
Logan
now.
is the best superhero movie? Or that's a tough question, but it's in
Okay.
the conversation for sure.
For sure. And here's my 2 points for you. They're both Batman movies. One of them is The Dark Knight,
Okay.
and the other one is The Batman. And here's the thing. Here's the thing.
You know, I don't think the Batman is on that level.
I know you don't. I know you don't. It's crazy because it's another one on my list. I'm sure there are more if I really thought about it.
Yeah.
But those are just the 2 I thought of right now. And here's what I want to say about The Dark Knight. Dark Knight is a fantastic movie.
Mm-hmm.
It has done damage to the Batman franchise. From a general audience, the Dark Knight series has done damage to the Batman franchise, in my opinion.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about Batman.
Okay. I mean,
What do you mean by that, though?
what I mean by that is that I love Christopher Nolan. I love that man. The movie, The Dark Knight, we'll just talk about The Dark Knight because I think it's the best of 3. I think most people do think it's the best of 3.
Mm-hmm.
All the performances are great.
Mm-hmm.
But a movie was written
Mm-hmm.
and we threw a Batman cover on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's a good Batman movie. I don't think that it represents who Batman is as a character very well. I don't think it represents who Joker is as a character very well. I think it's a very cool adaptation of their characters, but when it comes down to their core principles, I don't think it nails it that well. Can you
like explain more what you mean?
Yeah, I can try. I think, how do I say this one? I think the easier one for me to decipher, I guess, is the Joker, because there's no, and you can make the argument that everything I'm about to say still applies to Heath Ledger's Joker. There's no rhyme or reason for anything the Joker does. There rarely ever is. He wants chaos, and that's purely it. And I know that Joker's like, oh, I'm an agent of chaos or whatever, but he makes a point to like be calling out Batman, to call for him to turn himself in. And yes, it's like, you can make the argument it's to lead the city into more and more chaos, but there's like, that's not the Joker. The Joker would just go and kill the people. The Joker would just go and blow up the hospital. He would there would be no warning for any of that.
Mm-hmm.
I think the best part of that movie for an accurate depiction of them is the interrogation scene.
Mm-hmm.
I think that displays the dynamic between them very well, in that the Joker really gets under Batman's skin, and Bruce Wayne, who is a person who does his very best to keep everything in his control, cannot do that when the Joker's around, which is a big problem, which is why he keeps him alive. I don't love that. Whatever, it happens. And then as far as the character for Batman they wrote, they slip up on the Bruce Wayne personality of it, is my biggest problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to do that in a movie. It's so much easier to write that into a comic book when it's long running, and I get that. He spends so much time figuring out how to be Batman as Bruce Wayne. And half his conversations with Fox are about being Batman. Maybe all of them. I don't know. I don't know the exact numbers on that.
Mm-hmm.
Most of his conversations with Fox are about being Batman. And that's a lot of how it should be. But we don't see him try to better Gotham outside of being Batman, unless my memory is misleading me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's very important for the Batman character.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably being dramatic when I say it's done so much damage, but I think that it's created a false representation of what Batman and his characters are like versus what they should be.
Interesting.
I think another big problem with that franchise is Bane. I think they fumbled Bane as a character.
Well, I think a lot of people agree on that.
Okay. Yeah, I know they do. I just
Well, okay, here's what I'll say. And I know
I can try and explain better if there's specific things I'm not making sense on.
No, I mean, what you're saying is making sense, but I also think you have to keep in mind that the comics and movies are and this is obvious, but they're very different mediums.
Mhm.
And I think that there are modifications that you have to make.
Mhm.
Like even when you're adapting a book, you have to make changes, because if you just translate a book directly to the screen, like that's not going to be interesting.
Yeah.
We don't want to spend 20 minutes inside a character's mind with them like deciding like, oh, am I going to do this? Am I not going to do this? You know, like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's how it is in comics. I'm just trying to use that like you have to, like Harry Potter's not going to include all 500 pages of the book, right? Like they have to make some cuts.
Yeah.
And sometimes they make the wrong call. Sometimes they take out things that maybe were necessary or more important. Sometimes they do it perfectly, like with Lord of the Rings, right?
Mhm.
I think that to those specific points that you brought up, like with the Joker. So, and I think you probably agree with this. You probably agree with this, and this isn't like going against your point of saying that this is not how the Joker is in the comics or whatever. But I think that makes for a less compelling movie if the Joker is just doing stuff willy-nilly. And I don't think it's like as straightforward as like he's an agent of chaos. Actually, no, he's not. He's just saying that and he has a plan. I think he's just more of like a walking contradiction in that movie. Like he says stuff and does the other opposite all the time in that movie.
That's fair.
But I guess my point in saying that is that it's obviously an adaptation. And the way that he built the world was like kind of crossing that comic world with the real world. And I think that it makes those choices ultimately make the movie better. Now, whether that has done damage to the public's perception of the Batman, I can't really speak to that because I'm not too familiar with all the comics that are represented, that are being represented by that movie. But what I do know is that there are way more comics about Batman than there are movies. And there are lots of different versions of of Batman and the Joker. And so maybe there are general truths to those characters that are followed, but I'm sure that as someone who has read a small number of comics and is familiar with a lot of the Batman lore and everything, and likes all the movies and stuff. To me, I understand that the Joker feels somewhat different from the comics, but it didn't seem like it was it did injustice to the character or took anything like super important away from it. Like it seems like it felt like the Joker to me, and I'm not looking for a recreation of Heath Ledger's Joker in like future Batman movies. You know? And because I feel like the Joker you see in like the animated series is probably different than the Joker you would see in like Red Hood or Killing Joke but I could be wrong about that. I'm not super familiar with those storylines. I guess my whole point is that maybe there are some things that to Batman or Joker that they excluded or didn't or chose to add. But I think it served making a good movie. And like I think if you see Bruce Wayne talking to Lucius Fox about like being Batman, that I don't know if you could find a way to really like have that contribute to the story they were trying to tell there. I guess long story short, I think that what you're saying, that it definitely has affected the public's perception of Batman in a significant way. But I'm curious as to do you wish it was different?
No. I love those movies. And I think that the versions of those characters they play are interesting and compelling characters. I think there have been, I don't even know how many different people who have written a Batman story, right? And so, yeah, there's a lot of wiggle room, I guess. But there are a handful of things that I expect and want from Batman. And maybe I'm just saying it's different from my perception. Maybe that's all it is. There's a like a storyline in DC books where they call them Elseworlds, which is just, you can write, it's a different situation. Similar characters, same characters in different situations. And I think that that's what the Dark Knight trilogy is. And that's fine. But I think that it's not, and the average moviegoer doesn't care. They don't care. And that's fine. But for me, it's comes off as it's supposed to be a mainline Batman, like the main story, not some Elseworlds thing.
Well, what is the main story when you're talking about comics at this point?
It depends on what era we're reading, I guess.
Yeah.
I love that. I love The Dark Knight, and I love all the actors and the performances, and I think I don't want it to be changed. I do think that go ahead.
Sorry. Say this. I want this going forward from Batman movies.
The Batman.
Okay. But the Batman doesn't even have Lucius Fox in it.
Because it's basically Batman Year One, and I think that's a whole.
It barely has
thing.
Bruce Wayne in it.
It barely has Bruce Wayne in it, which is the point of Batman Year One.
Okay.
He's struggling to find the balance between Bruce Wayne and Batman. If that's what we did in The Dark Knight, fine. But he's been Batman for how long at that point? I don't know. I don't remember. But he's been doing
5
it a
years,
while.
10
He's
years.
been doing it a minute.
The timeline's a little weird in those series.
It does get wacky. He's Batman long enough to have bad knees or whatever, right? Like,
by The Dark Knight Rises, there's a lot of stuff we don't see on the screen. But okay. So ultimately, why you were saying all that is to say that the Batman is giving you what more along the lines of what you would want from the Batman character, than the Dark Knight did. Even though you might consider them on the same level as movies, or maybe one's a little better than the other. Okay.
Also, I'm so backtracking now. Spider-Man 2, it has contention for me to be as good as Logan. That's what we got on this topic.
Oh, okay, sure.
Spider-Man 2 is up there for sure.
Okay.
As far as like good comic movies.
Gotcha.
I just wanted to throw it out because I didn't think about time. I said 2 just because I was trying to transition us into me saying the Batman is on my list.
I do like the Batman a lot. I just don't know that it needed that last 30 minutes.
And that's fine. That's my one biggest gripe with it as well.
Yeah. But I just don't know if it'll be considered a classic. I think we'll have to wait to see what the Batman 2 does. Yeah. And that maybe
it probably won't be considered a classic. Maybe I just want to bring it up because I know you don't love it. Let me hear one of yours then. All right. That'll be one of mine. Yeah.
Yeah. Inside Out.
You mentioned that one earlier, and I kind of wanted to touch on that.
Did I? I mean, I said Inside Out and Coco, but
we didn't talk about it.
But you said you wrote down Coco, but you didn't write down.
I didn't write down Inside Out. I didn't even think about it. I don't think that Inside Out will have the lasting effect that it needs to be considered a classic. I do think it has all the story elements to potentially be, though. Okay. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it has the emotion, it has the unique vibe, the excellent technical aspects.
I mean, it was a Pixar film, so it had the audience, the broad audience,
Yeah, I think it made $1 billion. I could be wrong.
I think it might suffer from what we were talking about, potentially the Joker or Wicked suffering from. It had a sequel, and I don't know how it was received.
I think people generally liked the sequel, but it wasn't as universally loved, maybe.
Okay. I don't think it will last in the same way that maybe some other Pixar movies have. Okay. Incredibles, Cars. Yeah. Just name a few.
Ratatouille.
Okay. This one I don't think it'll be considered classic, maybe called classic, but it's just so different from everything else I put on here. I just want to throw it in here. Bullet Train.
Okay, I don't think it'll be a classic.
No, but it's I am not a huge comedy enjoyer, and that's a movie I'll watch and laugh.
Okay, no, it is funny. It is funny. I think that a lot of people don't think it's very good.
Okay,
I think a lot of people think that it's a mess. I like it. I like the, I guess, non-linear storytelling aspect of it.
which is interesting for my last movie, but you can get me with yours first. I agree with you. I don't think it'll be a classic.
I don't think you've seen this. Spotlight.
No, I have not seen that. I don't know what that is.
It's the one where you have these news reporters uncovering like the scandal about like the Catholic Church and the priests who are like molesting all the children and stuff across the country or world or something. Yeah.
I don't know
It
the
was
scale of it,
basically
I
about
guess.
the reporters at the newspaper.
Interesting.
I think maybe, I don't know if it's well known enough, but it was,
Yeah.
I think it was
Spotlight?
well received in like 2015 or something. Yeah. It has Mark Ruffalo. I think, let's see. Mark Ruffalo, Michael Keaton, Rachel McAdams.
Yeah, I do know about this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe, I mean, I don't know. It may not be well known enough.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I haven't seen it, so I can't really speak on it, I guess.
Gotcha.
Um,
What do you got? Or I don't know if, sorry, did you have anything?
I don't really have anything else to say on that, I guess. And my last one, and I don't think it will be a classic, and I don't know if you've seen it, but I think it's got a unique storytelling style and how non-linear it is. And it's We Live in Time. We Live in Time, I think is what it's
We
called.
Live in Time. Is that the Andrew Garfield
Andrew
one?
Garfield and Florence Pugh.
I haven't seen that, no.
Okay. I really enjoy it, but it is their story as a couple, their character stories as a couple, but it's not just them meeting to the end of the story. It starts, the first scene, I think, is like she's going into labor with their child.
Okay.
And it kind of plays around with the time.
Okay.
And then the last scene we see is actually the most future scene. Most present scene, I guess is the way to say that.
The most present scene?
Yeah, like it's the furthest down the line. Like they do actually
So
end
it's
on
the present.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or the future, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm not trying to say that. I don't know if it would be a classic, but it was different. Different, I guess, is the main reason I put it down.
Okay.
And I guess I kind of want to talk to you about it if you had seen it, but I wasn't sure if you
No,
had.
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. It probably won't be, but I just think it's an interesting conversation with this.
Gotcha. The last one I have is Room with Brie Larson. Have you seen it?
I don't think I've seen that one.
It's basically where she was kidnapped as a child or as a teenager,
Uh-huh.
and she's been living in this room that she's where with her kid. So I think she was either pregnant or the kidnapper got her pregnant,
Interesting.
and she's been raising this child, and they've been locked in a room for his whole life.
Whoa.
And it's about Jacob Tremblay, and it's about them like being in the room and then escaping and like dealing with entering the real world again, essentially.
Okay. That is interesting.
It was pretty impactful back in 2015, but I don't know if people really think about it now as much.
I've never heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't necessarily mean it's not. I just don't know about it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
That does sound very interesting, though.
Yeah.
Sounds like just from what the plot is, it's got potential to be a classic, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
There's a lot of the elements that are important. But
yeah, it's the first time I saw Brie Larson in a movie, I think. She would have been young back then, so that was like 10 years ago, so or
Right.
mid-20s. Yeah. Wait, wow, her name is Brienne Sidoni de Saulniers.
Man,
That's crazy.
I've been lied to my whole life.
Yeah, I'm not surprised she went with Brie Larson.
Yeah, that's so much better. Also, I lied to you. There's one more on here that I have.
Okay.
We don't have to move on from this. I'm just letting you know.
No, I mean, that's...
Okay.
I mean,
I got nothing to say about it, so
Okay.
it's up to you, really.
no, I think it might be a classic if people...
Do you
maybe,
think it's one that, like, maybe... Not in the same way we were talking about...
Gone Girl also came out in 2014. That was a good 2014 movie.
Crazy. Not what I expected to happen just there.
Sorry.
That's okay. Dang, 2014 was just full of bangers.
Well, it was a banger year. Yeah.
Okay. My last one
Mm-hmm.
is Beautiful Boy with
I haven't
Timothée
seen that either.
Chalamet and
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Steve Carell, I think.
Have you seen it?
I have.
Okay.
I really like it. And I don't know. I mean, I'm not someone who can like relate to anything that happens in that story, but I think as someone who can't relate, and not to like it gave me insight, but it was a very compelling story to watch, and probably not unique. I'm sure there are similar movies out there, but different for me.
I think that I haven't seen it, but I think it's hard sometimes with these dramas, Room, Spotlight, Beautiful Boy, We Live in Time, like these like they're good movies, but I think they might get lost in the shuffle of like a lot of similar types of movies.
That's fair.
And it's hard to know though, because if you like look back in history, a lot of classics are dramas,
Yeah.
not blockbusters.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe some of these.
We'll see. Yeah. I mean, everything we talked about is a we'll see, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
I'm
think
most confident in. My top 3 most confident: Mad Max Fury Road, Logan, and Into the Spider-Verse.
Okay. I think my most confident are Logan, Into the Spider-Verse, and Parasite.
Oh, Parasite. Sorry. Yeah, Parasite's a lock. Parasite
Like
is a lock.
I don't see a world where that isn't a classic.
Yeah.
That movie's crazy. Did I tell you I watched that in high school? It's crazy. I watched it in class in high school.
Wait, what? Parasite?
Parasite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
For a
watched
second,
it
I just
for-
forgot what we were talking about. We've been talking too long.
It's okay.
Okay. Is it okay if we talk about Batman next time?
Yeah, that's cool. That's totally cool.
We've talked a lot, so
Yeah, I don't know that that'll take us that long, but yeah, I'm
it probably won't. But we've already just talked for
I'm starting to
a
lose my
long
voice.
time,
I'll be
yeah.
totally honest with you. So
yeah.
I got thoughts on that for sure.
Yeah. All right.
I may have been a little harsh on The Dark Knight, guys. Let me just say that right now.
No.
I
You
may have
said
been a
you
little
kept saying that you
dramatic.
loved it, so I
I
think
do love it.
Yeah. No. So I
It's
think
just so different.
no. That's fine.
fine.
All right.
Well,
It's been real.